Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Howard David, and in just a little while, we'll be meeting up with my colleagues Don Perkins and Merle Harmon as we get ready for what has become a New Year's Eve tradition, the Bluebonnet Bowl. This year, Purdue and Tennessee, two schools so very deep in football tradition. And what a great way it is to close out the 70s. And this is the final athletic event of the 70s with the Bluebonnet Bowl in this magnificent eighth wonder of the world, the Houston Astrodome. We'll return to check in with Merle and Don right after we pause for this message. One of the great things about football at the collegiate level is the youngsters coming up for the high school level as they get ready. And just moments ago, Mr. Earl Wright, the senior officer and vice president of Texaco in Houston, had a tremendous honor as he presented a series of checks to that man, Joe Tusa, the athletic director for the Houston Independent School District, on behalf of these three youngsters. First, Bubba Hill of LaPorte High School, the most valuable back. Then Mark Jackson, the most valuable lineman from Madison of Houston High School. And finally, the most valuable player, Ricky Madison of Memorial High School. Each presented a $1,000 scholarship check in their name to their respective schools' general fund. And now let's go down to the field where Merle Harmon and Don Perkins are standing by.
Thank you very much, Howard. And Don, in the last 6 years, the Bluebonnet has produced some tremendously explosive teams like, well, they've scored better than 57 points combined in the last 6 years. Are Purdue and Tennessee capable of equaling that tonight?
You know, I think under normal circumstances, Merle, they might be, but I think probably not so. Purdue's primarily, even though a lot of accolades have been given to their quarterback, Mark Herman, and he's deserving of them. He owns nearly all the Big Ten passing records, but primarily they've been winning their games defensively. And on 6 occasions this year, out of their 9 victories, they've held their opponents to less than 100 yards rushing, and on 2 of those occasions, they've held them to also not only 100 yards rushing, but less than 100 yards passing. It's going to be interesting. Johnny Majors and the Tennessee Volunteers have had problems playing consistently. He said when you play poor offensively, you expect your defensive ball club to take up the slack. They have not been able to put those two things together. So when the offense has been playing poor, the defense has been playing poor, and that's been a problem for the Volunteers.
I think one of the questions will be, can that Purdue defense handle the Veer offense, though?
It's going to be a new experience for them because they have not faced a Veer offense all year. They call out the Purdue defense the junk defense. I don't know. They might be able to get the thing together, but it'll be a challenge for them. They have not seen it.
We think it's going to be a good one. We think you're going to enjoy it, so stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages from our local stations. Well, you know, Don, we were talking about can Purdue handle the Veer offense. The Tennessee Veer offense features something a little bit special in quarterback James Streater.
They do, certainly do. Streater is an excellent quarterback, and from this Veer, he not only can run the football, he throws it very well. He's an excellent passer. He's hitting almost 50% of his passes. Kind of vulnerable, though, when you're a Veer quarterback. You run the ball a lot. He's the mainstay for the Volunteers, and running the ball often, he can get hurt. But he's got an excellent receiver in Hancock. Hancock is just a sophomore. He's caught a bunch of them this year. 34 for almost 700 yards. A big game breaker also because he has caught one on a single occasion. He's gone for 85 yards.
Well, now, Roland James, number 14 of Tennessee, probably will be tested more than ever in his career tonight in trying to handle one Dave Young, number 80 of Purdue, and, of course, Mark Herman on the other side of the fence. He's one of the great passers in America.
All the coaches say that he can do it. They say that he can do it. The pro scouts say he's got to be a first or second round draft choice. He's an excellent punt returner also. He'll be a busy man this evening, though.
Well, we're all going to be busy here at the Bluebonnet Bowl of the Astrodome, and we're ready for exciting football. So we'll be back with more from Houston right after this from your local station.
Citizens Watch Company, the official timepiece of the Ms. Lou Television Network and the commemorative watch of the Bluebonnet Bowl. Tex Thornton, the executive director of the Bluebonnet Bowl, is about to receive a gift from Ken Reeves of the Citizens Watch Company. Ken?
Thank you, Howard. Mr. Thornton, on behalf of Citizen Watch Company, it's my pleasure to present you with the official 1979 Bluebonnet Bowl wristwatch. We're sure you and the players will receive many years of pleasure and quality service from these watches.
Ken, thank you very much. There's a lot of people spending an awful lot of time and hard work here, but I really do appreciate it. It's a beautiful watch.
Congratulations, Tex. You deserve it. Thank you, Ken. Let's go upstairs to Merle and Don.
All right, Howard, and the Tennessee Vols, who won 7 and lost 4 this past season, but finished a winner with a couple of big victories, will be kicking off, and teeing it up is Alan Duncan from Norris, Tennessee. He's a junior, and he's a good one. He kicked 40 straight PATs, including 7 last year, going back deep. Number 26 is Larry Perry for the Purdue Boilermakers, who were 9-2. And we're underway in the 21st annual Bluebonnet Bowl, and that kick went out of bounds. So we'll do it over. Went out at about the 2-yard line. Alan Duncan, we're talking about his prowess. He's 33 out of 33 in the extra point department this year, has kicked 10 of 15 field goals, and he has scored 63 points by kicking this year for Tennessee.
And Merle, we might add that he was a walk-on on campus, came on without a scholarship. He's been a real nemesis against Kentucky. Kicked one to 25 yards this year with 5 seconds left in the game to beat Kentucky by 20-17 score.
He's a sidewinder, and the Tennessee Vols, who are very used to bowl games, having been in 22 of them. The Purdue Boilermakers are making their 3rd appearance. They have won both previous appearances in the Rose Bowl and last year in the Peach Bowl. Once again, Purdue sends 3 men deep. Larry Perry is back there along with 44 Wayne Smith. And this time the ball will be kicked from the 35 by Alan Duncan. Glad to have you aboard from the Bluebonnet Bowl, a New Year's Eve tradition. Pretty good hit. And it's going to be Wayne Smith a yard deep in the end zone at the 20. And he has dropped down to the 24. So we're underway. And wildly cheering fans from Purdue and Tennessee are here tonight. Suttle was in on the tackle. Here is the Purdue backfield featuring Mark Herman at quarterback. Augustiniak and Wally Jones are the running backs. The wide receivers, Bart Burrell, Dave Young, Raymond Smith. And the offensive line for Purdue, Fields, Schwann, Quinn, Hall, and McKenzie. And they'll run behind McKenzie. He's excellent. Mark Herman, one of the nation's great quarterbacks for the Purdue Boilermakers. Augustiniak tries the left side, crosses the 25 to about the 27-yard line. And the tackler is Bill Bates, number 40, the strong safety. Now the defensive line, Jones, Davis, Gillespie, White, and Ingram, with Gillespie keying as the nose tackle. The linebackers, Danny Spradlin and Craig Pookie. And the defensive backs, Jones, Martin, James, and Bates, will be tested by Mark Herman. Harrison Burrell are the wide receivers now for Purdue. And Young in motion, and it's a completion to Ben McCall coming out of the backfield. Purdue may have the first down just shy of the 35-yard line. Wilbert Jones, number 7, the left cornerback, a junior from Brownsville, Tennessee, to make the tackle, and let's see where they mark it. It may be close enough to have the sticks brought out, but let's see.
Well, Merle, we know we're going to see a lot of passing from Purdue with a great quarterback, Mark Herman, number 9. We're looking at him there on our screen. But we've also got an excellent defensive back. You're going to see a lot of him in Roland James for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Purdue missed it by about a foot. It's 3rd down, a foot to go for the Boilermakers. And Purdue will come on with a pair of tight ends. Augustiniak cracks for the first down. He had to go across the 35, and he made it. Brad White, number 90, a junior from Idaho Falls, Idaho, stopped the play for the Tennessee Vols. Tom Gillespie, a tackle, comes in as a 2nd tight end. He has to change uniform jerseys. That's Johnny Majors, a head coach of Tennessee, back at his alma mater. He was an All-American single-wing tailback back in the 50s. Of course, built winners at Iowa State and Purdue. Smith and Burrell are wide for Purdue. After one first down, they go to the running game. Mike Augustiniak, a hard-nosed guy, runs for a couple and is brought down by Steve Davis, number 57, the defensive left end, a senior from Knoxville. Augustiniak, a senior out of Leo, Indiana, has rushed for 295 yards this year and has caught passes for 26 and has scored 4 touchdowns. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Mike Harris, 41, a senior from Los Angeles, and Bart Burrell, 87, are split. And this is Burrell, who was a high school teammate of Mark Herman. Herman to the air, and he's got one. To Mike Harris, number 41, at the 45-yard line, just across the 45. Danny Martin, number 29, a junior from McMinnville, Tennessee, had the coverage on the play, and Mike Harris has picked up another first down. He broke his jaw just a few weeks ago, in fact, in the game in Iowa. But he is back in action. That's one of the nice things about a postseason game, Don Perkins. Some of the injured guys have a chance to get back.
Boilermaker's been out of action now for several weeks, and a lot of those fellas, although they have gotten rusty, they have gotten well.
All right, here is Mark Herman back to the running game, and this time it's Ben McCall, the tailback. And McCall finds a big hole to get down into Tennessee territory to the 45-yard line. Brian Ingram, number 84, a junior out of Memphis, Tennessee, and the best defensive end for the Vols, makes the stop after an 8-yard gain. Ben McCall out of Chicago, a junior.
You saw his rushing average there, Merle, better than 5 yards a carry. He hasn't picked up much yardage, but when he's done it well. There's head coach Jim Young from Purdue, and completing his 3rd year there.
What a job he's done, huh? All right, McCall in motion, out to the right. Augustiniak through the middle, whacks his way down to about the 40-yard line, another first down. And it is Craig Pookie, number 44, the senior from Seattle, Washington, the linebacker, making the tackle. Talking about Jim Young a moment ago, as we go back and take a look at this man who's going to be a very big man before the night's over, Dave Young and his blocking ability.
Steve McKenzie, 74, also was doing an excellent job in blocking there for Purdue. Young, though, counted on quite a bit, doing an excellent job of blocking.
So Mark Herman has marched the Boilermakers, and this time he goes to number 37, John Macon. And Macon swings wide to the left, goes down across the 35 to the 34. And the free safety, Roland James, the great All-American from Jamestown, Ohio, makes the tackle. Purdue is very versatile in the running back department.
They'll run a lot of backs in there. They'll also run a lot of receivers in. This game is important, Merle, to both ball clubs. It's been quite a while since Johnny Majors and the Volunteers have won 8 ball games in a year. They're 7-4 on the year. They have not won 8 games since 1973. Purdue wants to win 10, something they've never done.
Second down 4. That's Burrell wide to the left. And in motion, Mike Harris. McCall, and McCall is still on his feet. McCall fighting at the 20 and down to the 19 before he is brought down by Roland James, the strong safety, number 14. So Roland James, we thought he would be busy tonight. That's a 15-yard pickup and a first down.
Taking a look at it again, number 13, McCall came out of reserve ranks to gain 342 yards in his final 3 games. He was not a starter earlier in the year. He was a reserve. 5.7 per carry. That's a fine, healthy average.
Another first down for the Boilermakers. In motion to the left side, that's McCall again. As Young swung in motion to the left, they go to McCall. He is brought down by Charles Gillespie, number 75, the nose tackle, a sophomore out of Spring City, Tennessee. A gain on the play, well, nothing this time. Second down, 10 at the 20. Might have lost a foot. Burrell, 87. Harris, 41, of the wide receivers for the Boilermakers. Pete Quinn is the center. By the way, Pete Quinn, they had a big barbecue at a ranch out here for both ball clubs. I want to tell you, Pete Quinn, number 63, the center, knocked him dead with an Elvis bit. That's Young in motion to the left. Herman back to throw. Goes to McCall out of the backfield. The gain is short at about the 16. Steve Davis, a senior from Knoxville, makes the tackle on Ben McCall, a junior out of Chicago, Illinois. The Boilermakers, with their 9-2 record, finished second of the Big Ten. They're starting to break up that old song of the Big Two and the Little Eight. Certainly, Purdue, with its tremendously impressive football teams for the last 2 years, have moved right into title contention of the Big Ten from here on out. 87, Bart Burrell. As you look at Mark Herman, his high school teammate, this is what he has done statistically. They go into the shotgun. First look now at the shotgun for the Tennessee defense. Almost picked off. Number 57, Steve Davis, almost got it before Raymond Smith, the intended receiver, was there, and Davis just about had himself an interception.
Davis doing an excellent job. The shotgun formation is not unusual for Purdue. We expected that they might come in with it. Davis doing an excellent job defensively. Another new maneuver, Merle, this evening is Dave Young, the tight end, going in motion. That's something unusual for the Boilermakers.
All right, the field goal attempt will be done by Seibel, and the kick is not good. So it is not good. And the Tennessee Volunteers have stopped the Boilermakers. We'll be back right after this message.
We are proud to announce on April 20th, Amelia Island off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida will be the site of the Mujani Tennis Championships with some of the best in the world of women's tennis right here on the Ms. Lou Television Network.
Now the Tennessee Volunteers, led by Jimmy Streater at quarterback, running out of the eye, and he can run, he can throw, and he throws on first down. It's incomplete. Intended for Willie Galt, number 26, the wingback. Wayne Smith, 44, had the coverage on the play. He's the left quarterback, a senior out of Chicago, Illinois. Jimmy Streater has HUbert Simpson, 32, and James Berry is his running backs. And as his wide receivers, Anthony Hancock, Reggie Harper's the tight end, Willie Galt. And the offensive line of Sutton, Marin, North, Jester, and Irwin. And Irwin is a giant of a tackle. Galt is wide to the right, and now they switch off. Galt, Hancock going out in motion. James, Jimmy Streater with a slot right. 2nd and 10 at the 20. The tailback Simpson, and HUbert gets up to about the 23. Number 59, James Looney, the linebacker, making the stop. Here's the front five for the Purdue Boilermakers, and it's solid all the way across. Tom Kingsbury, one of the smallest guys you'll see up there, but he is really tough. Kevin Motz and James Looney are the linebackers. And the defensive secondary, Wayne Smith, Bill Kay, and Robert Williams, Tim Seneff. Streater going upstairs, going for it all, and it's incomplete. Anthony Hancock was covered by Bill Kay. Anthony Hancock, who can really move it. He's on the track team at Tennessee, a sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio. And this defensive unit of Purdue, the junk defense, which gives you a little bit different look. Some say a flex like the Dallas Cowboys. A little tough here.
One of the questions we had, Merle, was whether they could stop a Veer offense that they have not seen. Well, on the first series, they did.
Johnny Warren is back to punt, and Dave Rutherford is back deep for the Purdue Boilermakers, and it'll be a Tennessee roll off the foot of Johnny Warren from Jessup, Georgia, a freshman. And finally, the ball rolls out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and Purdue is coming up with its second offensive possession. So here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, 8 minutes and 13 seconds remain to be played in the first quarter after that 44-yard kick. And we'll be back after these messages from your local stations. Purdue ready to roll for the second time tonight. No score. Burl and Smith are wide. The running backs are McCall and Augustiniak, and this is McCall breaking it back up the middle, and he bangs his way to the 45-yard line for a 12-yard pickup and a first down. And once again, it's Raymond James, a free safety, who has to make the tackle. He's been busy, Don.
He has been busy. He's going to be busy. That was an 11-yard game. But let's look at Roland James, an all-Southeast Conference selection. Certainly a ball player that's going to go high in the pros, doing a good job of pursuit. And watch this fine tackle there. He only gets hold of one foot, but he brings him down.
1st and 10 for the Boilermakers on the 45. Merle Herman, Don Perkins, and Howard David with you at the Bluebonnet Bowl. Play action. Herman cuts it away, and it's incomplete, intended for Bart Burrell. Bart Burrell came out of Carmel, Indiana, a junior high school teammate, and Purdue was about the only team that really showed much interest in Burrell, and he has just turned out to be a magnificent performer for Jim Young and the Boilermakers. It'll be 2nd down and 10 on the 45.
On the first series of drives, Purdue was able to move the ball down the field. We're looking at Jim Young, the head coach, just completing his 3rd year there at Purdue.
He's had the first game of the decade, and he's got the last one. As Ben McCall breaks it back up to the middle, fumbles the football for about a 4-yard gain. All the way down to the 42-yard line. He got an extra 4 yards after fumbling the football. And number 66, Dale Schwann, the left guard, was right there all over it.
McCall done an excellent job getting a good surge out of that offensive lineup. He was of high school Chicago Mendel. He was 0-17 his junior and senior year. Doing an excellent job of running there.
That's not bad when you can come back from 0-17. Johnny Major's a little concerned now about Purdue being able to move the football against his defensive unit. By the way, they marked the ball on the 44, making the play dead as the fumble was made. Augustiniak and McCall, but Herman's going to go for Burrell, and Burrell's got it. Burrell's got it. down inside the 25-yard line and out of bounds at the 24. Danny Martin, number 29, had the coverage, but watch Burrell.
Tell you what, they look like pros on this one. Quarterback there dropping back, doing an excellent job. Herman has got a good sight on Burrell. Burrell doing a nice fingertip grab there. Bolitnikov, he's a lot like Bolitnikov in there with great fingers, great hands.
A 19-yard pickup for the Boilermakers. Splitting wide to the right, Raymond Smith. Burrell going wide to the left. They pick up a slot man left, and this is Mike Harris. Herman, and pretty good rush put on. McCall was the intended receiver. Kenny Jones, who is 6'5", number 99, a sophomore from Nashville, came in, and he might have deflected. At least he gave Herman a great big pair of hands to try to throw over. No score in this game. 6 minutes, 57 seconds remaining to be played from the 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. John Macon, 37. Ben McCall, 13 of the running backs now. Second down, Purdue. This is Mark Herman. John Macon, not much. Craig Pookie, number 44. All Southeastern Conference linebacker, stopped that play in a hurry, and not much was right. A loss of 2. Third down, 12 coming up now. Augustiniak comes back in. Burrell comes back in for Purdue. It's a beautiful night in the Astrodome.
I don't think we're going to have a record-setting number of points, though, the way these teams are playing defensively, Merle. They've been averaging in the last 6 years about 57 points per game. Shotgun formation.
And the deep man is Herman, of course. The gunslinger from Carmel on the chase, and he is tracked down and thrown for a loss. Way back there by Brad White, who led the team in quarterback sacks with 7. And Steve Davis, 57, was back there to be in on the play, and I thought I saw a flag thrown, maybe not.
The old cliche, the best defense against a passing quarterback is a good pass rush. We're looking at number Brad White there. He will not be denied. She brings down quarterback Mark Herman. 11-yard loss.
11-yard loss, and Greg Hayes will punt it away. And does into the end zone. Greg, a sophomore from Fort Wayne. Kick of 37 yards, and we're down to 5:42 to go in the first quarter with no score. Let's pause briefly now for these messages from our participating advertisers. Well, the Tennessee Vols will put it in play for the second time tonight. Gauld and Hancock are in wide. They go to the slot and out of the eye with tailback James Berry running the football, brought down by Ken Lauscha, number 72, the all Big Ten selection and most decorated defensive player on this Purdue team. He's a senior from Richmond Heights, Ohio. And he really anchors this, for all practical purposes, 5-man front. The 2 outside men are technically listed as linebackers. Keena Turner, all Big Ten, and Tom Kingsbury. Jimmy Streater at the controls. Streater firing away, and he hits Willie Galt. Galt gets up near the 30, brought down by Tim Seneff, a sophomore from Merrillville, Indiana, number 43. And it's third down and about a yard. Glenn Ford is now coming in at one of the running back spots. And coming in now for Tennessee also is Kyle Aguillard, number 87, to give Tennessee a double tight end offense. He'll be in there with Reggie Harper. Do you think that Kyle Aguillard can't pick a mean guitar as he did out at the barbecue yesterday? This guy had a good time, too. All right. Last man to the dive. And the last man is HUbert Simpson. And he dives across the 30 for a first down. Kevin Motts, 58, the senior linebacker from South Bend, joined by Calvin Clark, number 94, a junior from Atlanta, Georgia, to make the stop for Purdue.
Purdue not giving much up defensively. After their 31-14 loss against Minnesota, they steamrolled everybody else, winning 6 straight ball games, and they're in top defensive form here tonight.
Galt to the left, Hancock to the right for Tennessee. No score in this game. Tennessee has had 14 yards offense now, and they're trying to get more. As HUbert Simpson, a real workhorse, who ran for 792 yards this year, plugs his way out to about the 32, brought down by Tom Kingsbury, number 15, one of the smallest, tough linemen you'll ever see, and Kevin Mott's number 58, the senior linebacker. A gain of, maybe a half yard. It'll be second down coming up for Tennessee. 3:49 to go in the first quarter from the Astrodome. Purdue has had 90 yards total offense here in the first period. Splitting to the right side, that's Hancock. Streater throwing on the run. He overthrows Willie Galt, who would come out the other way. The coverage by number 44, Wayne Smith. So the incompleted pass stops the clock with 3:35 to go in the first period, and third down coming up.
The last quarterback of Streater's style that Purdue faced was Ohio State's Rod Gerald, and that was 2 years ago. So it was sort of an unanswered question. How well will they handle a good veer quarterback? And so far here in the first quarter of play, the Boilermakers have done pretty well.
Galt comes to the left side, Hancock to the right side. Third down coming up. The offensive line of Tennessee has been a little inconsistent this year, but now Streater, straight drop back, rifles it over the middle, and it's intercepted by Kevin Motts, the linebacker. He's down inside the 30 at the 28, and HUbert Simpson stops him right there. So the Boilermakers pick off a Streater pass and have great field position on the 28-yard line.
Quarterback Streater there, dropping back, straight back. He thinks he's got an intended receiver over, but they're going to see number 58, Kevin Motts there, the linebacker, doing an excellent job backing up. The intended receiver was Ford, the running back. Motts doing an excellent job. The Boilermakers in great shape now. And Tennessee's into the field.
And there again, Don, that jump defense is very hard to figure out, especially when you're seeing it for the first time. That's Bart Burrell wide to the right side. Smith going the other way. Herman on a handoff to Ben McCall. McCall up the middle, got some yardage down to the 22. Good pickup on the play. And the tackler was Charles Gillespie, number 75, the nose tackle, or nose guard, if you will. A gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4. Wally Jones, 32, comes in for the first time tonight in the backfield for the Boilermakers as they continue to bring fresh backs in against this Tennessee defense. Tom Gillespie has put on number 82. He's in as a double tight end with Dave Young. That's Jones inside the 20 at the 19, short of a first down. Stopped by Brad White, number 90, who is just an outstanding football player. And you're looking also at Kenny Jones, number 99, and the ever-present Roland James, number 14, up there. It is third down and a yard. And Wally Jones goes out of the backfield for Purdue.
Talked about the incentive that these teams might have. The Volunteers, 7-4, want to win 8 games for the first time since '73. Also, Merle, they've got a lot of underclassmen. I understand they have over 40 freshmen on the ball club.
This time it's McCall out of the stack guy, and he is inside the 20 at about the 17. He might have the first down. Ben McCall. And Carlton Gunn, number 65, is down there at middle guard. And he's up to make the stop, but it's a first down for Purdue. Raymond Smith, 81, comes into the game now for the Boilermakers. He is a wide receiver, a senior from Paris, Kentucky. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Dave Young, number 80, will be a factor in this game. He's the tight end, and Herman loves to throw it to him. He's looking for him right now. There he is, right out of his hands on the 3-yard line. Roland James is going to hawk him all night. Was over there to cover him on the play.
Got to see a good matchup all evening. There we're looking at great quarterback Mark Herman, his favorite receiver Young, and that excellent defensive back, the guy that can do it all, Roland James there for the Tennessee Volunteers. Look at that, tips it away right at the last minute to break Young's concentration.
It is second down and 10 coming up.
Our number 1 awards, the Hertz number 1 awards, coming up at halftime. You be sure and be with us for that.
All right, Howard. And this time it is McCall going in motion to the left side. Herman on second down, throwing on the run to Young. And Young is pulled down at about the 12-yard line by Brian Ingram, number 84, the junior from Memphis, who is a solid defensive end. Dave Young, I'll tell you, the pros can't wait to get their hands on this guy, Don.
I tell you what, Merle, and not only that, he's now caught passes in 30 straight games with that catch.
Johnny Majors has just absolutely turned on the Tennessee football fans again. Of course, they were never turned off. The Tennessee fans have been so great, they packed that stadium, and it's going to be enlarged over 90,000 for next year. They'll fill it. They always fill it. Third down and about 5. Furman will go to the run to Ben McCall, and McCall spins inside the 10. He is down near first down territory. Howard?
Merle, I mentioned before about the Hertz #1 awards. What the Hertz #1 awards are, the outstanding high school athlete in each state, it could be a male or a female, receives this award, and we'll show you the whole presentation, the award ceremonies that took place a couple of months ago. And of course, O.J. Simpson is so heavily behind that, and he is really impressed with the youngsters.
Pretty good name, too. Well, they're going to measure it, and it's going to be that close. And now Purdue has a decision to make on 4th down and inches. Ben McCall, who carried the ball a moment ago, had 148 yards against Indiana in the finale, and Jim Young, the head coach of the Purdue Boilermakers, has made his decision. The ball is resting at about the 8-yard line. No score, a minute 12 seconds left to play. Purdue has now moved for 110 yards total offense. Bolton and Irwin are in there, and they're going to go Augustiniak and McCall, the running back, out of the stacked eye, and the handoff goes to Augustiniak, and he is down to the 5-yard line. Stopped by Brad White, number 90, the junior from Idaho Falls, Idaho, and it's first down for Purdue on the Tennessee 5.
Augustiniak being a good man to give it to. He's a senior, but he's got the best weight out there, going 6'1", 217 pounds. They need a lot of crunch, and they got a lot of effort from the offensive side of that Purdue line.
First down and goal to go for the Boilermakers, who stormed through the Big Ten with a 9-2 record this year. Tell you, they have really done well against the toughies of the last years, as again they go to the run, and Ben McCall takes it, and Ben McCall fumbles the football, and let's see what this is all about as they get ready to unstack. Tennessee says, we recovered the football. Let's watch McCall.
Take a look at it. McCall there turning inside, getting excellent blocking from the right offensive line of the Boilermakers. Right there, number 14, Roland James gets a hand in it. The ball squirts loose, number 99. Kenny Jones comes up with it for the Volunteers.
And so the Boilermakers are denied. They're winning the battle, but have not won the war here in the first quarter. And a happy Kenny Jones goes to the sideline. Jones, a sophomore from Nashville at 6'5", 251 pounds. And so the Tennessee Volunteers shake the ball loose and take it over with 32 seconds to go in the first quarter.
If we looked at stats, they all belong to the Purdue Boilermakers, but they have not crossed the goal line.
Now Jimmy Streater puts the ball attack in motion. And here comes the rear, and the flip back to James Berry, and Berry is out of bounds as he swings wide. Tom Kingsbury contained the play, number 15, the outside linebacker, with Wayne Smith, number 44, over there to shove him out of bounds. A gain of 3, it'll be 2nd down and 7. Jay Williams has moved to right guard for Mike Jester now for Tennessee. Purdue is the first Big Ten team to play in a bowl game in Texas. Tennessee is playing its first game ever against a Big Ten school, and that is Hancock wide to the right. And here's that jump defense moving around for Purdue. And Jimmy Streater on a long count, checking out possibly. Gets the play in motion, and the pitch comes back to his trailing back, and that's James Berry, and he is knocked down by Keena Turner, number 85, with great pursuit from Ken Lauschen, the middle guard, the all Big Ten selection, who really put the heat on. And we're down to 10 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the clock is running, and the first quarter's about over. After a gain of 3, it'll be 3rd down and 7 as we open play in the second period here at the Astrodome. So that's the end of the first quarter with the score: Purdue nothing, Tennessee nothing. The second quarter comes up right after this. As the Boilermakers defensive unit goes to work in the second period, and Jimmy Streater being pursued, reversing, going the other way, throwing on the run, has the open man, and he hits number 85, Reggie Harper, is tight end. Bill Kay gets him out of bounds, but Reggie Harper, an all Southeast Conference selection, picks up a first down.
Well, this time Streater was rolling out to his right. He wanted to run or throw to his right, but he does an excellent job there of reversing his field, and Harper does a good job of getting open for that ball. Harper, tight end, doing an excellent job, all Southeast Conference.
And the Purdue Boilermakers suffer an injury on that last play, and it could be a very costly one. At the 15-yard line, Kevin Motz, the linebacker, goes down and is being helped up as Jimmy Streater comes to the sideline to talk to his head coach, Johnny Majors. Kevin Motz, the senior from South Bend, Indiana, has kind of been injury-prone in his career. He's second on the team in tackles with 57. He's had a bad knee since the Iowa ball game. And let's hope that this is just going to be a temporary thing. Yes, sir, those Tennessee fans are out in force. They're here from everywhere, including Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Gatlinburg is, well, about 300 folks are here, and Zeno Wall organized the group and brought him up here. And I'll tell you, he's some kind of a goodwill ambassador, isn't he?
Some kind of promoter, Merle.
Yes.
Zeno was here in full force.
So Kevin Motz goes to the sideline. Jimmy Streater really puts pressure on the defense with his scrambling act.
And one thing he's going to have to do to be successful against the Boilermakers is he's going to have to be able to throw the football, because nobody can run exclusively against the Purdue defense.
All right, here we go. And that's Galt split wide, and the handoff goes to Simpson. Up across the 40 to about the 42. Mike Marks, who has replaced Kevin Motz as the linebacker. He's a junior out of Chicago, makes the tackle. Marks has seen a lot of action this year. So what Purdue will suffer there in the drop-off, they're about equal, I would think, in ability. It'll be second down coming up for the Volunteers. Second down and 5. Merle Herman, Don Perkins, and Howard David with you in the Astrodome, and we wish all of you the happiest of New Year's coming up. We're not far away, are we? Jimmy Streater in command. Simpson right up the middle, a big hole across midfield for a first down to the 49. Marcus McKinney, number 34, and Tom Senna, 43. The safety men have to make the stop after an 8-yard pickup.
HUbert Simpson ran for 4 TDs against Notre Dame in a 40-18 win. When the Volunteers, and with running like this, it's easy to see why. Good leg action there, getting up in the air, getting away from would-be tacklers before number 34, Marcus McKinney, brings him down.
Now Terry Daniels, 43, comes in to join Simpson in the backfield. And James Berry is in there too, and he runs the ball across midfield down to about the 48, brought down by James Lutie, number 59, the linebacker, and Calvin Clark, 94, the defensive left tackle for Purdue. So it is second down and 7. Coalfield, all right, welcome aboard. Second down. Lee North moves up over the ball for Tennessee. And on the sideline, you're looking at number 10. That's Alan Duncan, the kicker. Oh, a misfire. And they go after the ball. Marcus Jackson chasing. Did Marcus Jackson come up with it? No. It was number 85, Keena Turner, the all Big Ten selection. And an All-American on many teams with Marcus Jackson in pursuit.
James Berry, the intended ball carrier on that one. A good pressure put on by 77, Marcus Jackson there. Number 85, Keena Turner coming up with it. Good defensive play by the Boilermakers.
Well, we're down to 13-14 to go in the first half here in the Astrodome in Houston.
And Merle, that's the second turnover for the Volunteers from Tennessee.
Wally Jones and Mike Augustiniak come on as a running back. Purdue almost had a touchdown earlier, fumbled the ball into the end zone, recovered. Now Herman will try to get it all with Burrell, and Burrell makes the reception. Watch his footwork. He is unbelievable. At the 20-yard line, Burrell dragged his feet, made the catch, went out of bounds, and look at it.
Good pass route being run by Burrell, but great blocking being done by that offensive line of the Boilermakers. Number 87 there. Well, we got Burrell. Maybe it's Willard.
No. That is Mr. Burrell. Now, Kyle Aguilar is the big tight end who wears 87 for Tennessee. He's a Texan, by the way. But right now, it is Raymond Smith split wide to the left side. And the handoff goes to John Macon. Macon is inside the 20 to about the 19. Chris Bolden, number 61, who is down at right linebacker, a junior out of Atlanta, Georgia, and a 2-year letterman for the Vols, makes the tackle. It'll be, let's see where they mark the ball. They mark the ball near the 18-yard line. It'll be second down, 8. Purdue is now 135 yards offense. Tennessee at 32. Let me run my calculator on that one again, however, for Purdue. That's Young on the move. And Herman swings it with a flag down, goes to Macon, coming out of the backfield. He's wrestled out of bounds near the 12 by Wilbert Jones, number 7, but flags were thrown as the play got underway.
Man in motion there, Young, I said earlier, was an unusual move by the Boilermakers. It is not unusual. It's a move that they use oftentimes to take advantage of his fine pass-catching ability. All that is going to be for naught. No, there's holding on Purdue.
And the first penalty. In fact, this first half has been very free of penalties, and Purdue caught for holding, and the walk-off will come. There's no score here at the Astrodome. And, of course, the Astrodome is the site of the 21st annual Bluebonnet Bowl. And, of course, when we talk about the Bluebonnet, we talk about the nation's most exciting postseason game for just big, explosive offense. 57 yards combined, or 57 points rather, combined by both teams in the last 6 years in this ball game.
They're going to have to hurry it up this evening, though. We're into the second quarter with 12:27 left, and nobody's got on the scoreboard.
But Don, remember last year with Stanford, went wild in the second half. Out of the shotgun, Herman's got to throw in a hurry because Tennessee had a great rush with Bolden, the linebacker, coming on the play, number 61. And Tennessee, yes, Tennessee will blitz that shotgun.
Little shovel pass there intended for number 32, Wally Jones. But on that kind of a pass, the receiver or intended receiver is so close that you really have to feather it in there.
Mike Harris, 41. Bart Burrell, 87. That's Burrell splitting wide to the right. They're in now with Jones and Macon, the running backs. And out of the shotgun, Mark Herman. Herman throwing for Harris. And Harris cut back over the middle, inside the 25 at the 24. And Roland James, number 14, the All-American free safety, makes the tackle.
Shotgun passing situation here gives the quarterback, even a good one like Herman, more time to find his intended receiver. Mike Harris finds him downfield. Volunteers are playing kind of loose because Purdue had to pick up an awful lot of yardage.
After a 3rd down and 18, it is now 4th down and 15. And they're going to go. Johnny Majors wondering, can we do it here? And Herman going to try to do it, and they nail him back on the 33-yard line. Charles Gillespie, number 75, the nose tackle from Spring City. Tennessee makes the tackle and sacks Mark Herman, and the Volunteers stop the Boilermakers again.
Gillespie going in after Herman. Herman pumping right there. Thought he had a man open. There, Gillespie didn't care if he had a man open or not. He got him.
No score in the Astrodome in Houston, and we'll be right back.
Well, Merle, let me comment on this because it's hardly consistent with your telling me you're 37 years old, but whatever.
Well, we got started early. Thanks to Tex Thornton in the game. Jimmy Streater going all the way, but well overshooting his intended receiver, Willie Galt. Galt did not run the deep pattern, so something broke down there. Tim Senna, 43, had the coverage. Willie Galt, a freshman out of Griffin, Georgia, a real burner. Check it in now with Reggie Harper, the tight end, and something just broke down, Don.
Streeter's a 50% passer coming into this game with over 1,200 yards for the year, but he's having trouble with that Boilermaker defense. A lot of people had trouble with Purdue, though, defensively all year long.
It is now a 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Tennessee Vols. Galt and Hancock are wide. Jimmy Streater owns almost all the records at Tennessee. How about this little maneuver? But he is knocked off his feet. Marcus McKenzie, the free safety, came up and played that one very well.
Had to believe that that was a broken play on the part of the Volunteers, though, because Streater looked very confused. Looks a little confused there now as he looks at the sidelines, but he certainly did as he rolled out on that naked reverse.
And it was a naked reverse.
Yeah, it was bad.
When you're out there all alone. Well, the Bluebonnet Bowl featuring the Purdue Boilermakers against the Tennessee Vols. That's Hancock split wide to the left side. Galt to the right. On 3rd down, 11. Streater flips it out to Simpson coming out of the backfield, but he's going to be short of the mark of the 39. Tom Seneff, the strong safety, and a real sticker, makes the tackle. And that'll bring on the punting unit. Tim Seneff, beg your pardon, not Tom. And going back deep for Purdue is number 48, and that is David Rutherford. And John Warren will be in to punt. We've got another Purdue man down. So we have a timeout here with 10 minutes 36 seconds, but only a brief one. Just long enough to move James Looney, the linebacker, off the field. So a brief officials timeout to move the injured player off, and here we go. Rutherford is deep, and Warren will kick it away for Tennessee. Freshman from Jessup, Georgia, with a 40.5 average, booted 163 against Alabama. Rutherford will let it bounce, and it does, and out of bounds on the 26-yard line of Purdue. So the Boilermakers will take another shot at Tennessee. There's no score with 10 minutes 17 seconds left to go in the first half after a 35-yard kick. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Play on the 26-yard line, and this is Wally Jones trying to swing wide to the left, brought down by Bill Bates, a strong safety from Knoxville, a freshman. He's a tough kid. He was great in the Alabama game. And in that Alabama game, by the way, Tennessee had a 17-0 lead before succumbing to the powerful Crimson Tide. Wally Jones, what he did in 1979 coming into the game tonight. Over to the sideline, Raymond Smith and Jim Young on the headset. Mike Harris has replaced Smith. Burrell is in there, 87. Herman, and the ball is tipped and almost intercepted. Mike L. Coffer, number 93, a freshman from Knoxville, who is just a tremendous prospect at 6'2" and 217, got his hands up to knock the ball away.
Did a good job. Linebackers are always disgusted when they get back in the area, do an excellent job of deflecting the ball, but they all want to pick it up and run with it. They don't get that many opportunities.
Mike L. Copper, he's going to be a name and a familiar figure to Tennessee fans for the next 3 years as Jones goes in motion for the Boilermakers. And on the draw, it is John Macon. Macon bangs out across the 30, going to about the 33. But they're short of a first down. And Craig Pookie, number 44, the linebacker, makes the stop. Herman is now 7 out of 13 for 74 yards. And going back deep for Tennessee, Roland James, number 14. And back to do the punting, Greg Hayes, a sophomore from Fort Wayne with a 39-yard kicking average. And a long shot of 73 this year. Kind of a line drive kick and a fair catch called for and taken by Val Barksdale up short at about the 39-yard line. The ball's come out of this thing with good field position.
Certainly have, and they're in excellent shape considering no points have been scored in this game, and offensively they have not been able to move. That 26-yard punt by Purdue has put them in excellent position. Merle, we're going to see them go against the junk defense. That's what they call Purdue. This year they stopped people 96 times for 454 yards and losses. Last year they were 4th nationally defensively.
Gary Moore rather is now in the Tennessee backfield with HUbert Simpson. Jimmy Streater running the offense. And that's HUbert Simpson again, a real workhorse. He's at the 42, brought down by Mike Marks, who replaced the injured Kevin Motz. And Marcus McKinney, the free safety, a sophomore from Barberton, Ohio, who started a lot of ball games and started the one tonight. Second down coming up for the Tennessee Vols and no score.
Simpson, that last ball carrier, has an interesting philosophy. He likes to run tough. He doesn't want to dodge anybody. He says all they're going to get is knees, shoulder pads, and a helmet.
Willie Galt, you saw him getting set, ready to go. Wide to the right, second down, and Streater with play action. Now the scramble is on, the pursuit is on. He fires it away, and he completes it to Willie Galt, who had to come back to help him out. Wayne Smith, number 44, had the tackle, and Marcus Jackson was chasing Jimmy Streater all over the place. So they don't wind up with much, a couple, but at least no loss. Willie Galt, 3 receptions, 95 yards. He's a freshman, and you'll hear a lot about him in the future, not only in Tennessee, but all across the country.
Good thing he came back to help out quarterback Streater that time, because Marcus Jackson was in hot pursuit. He was going to nail him.
No score. And this time, Willie Galt's going to go the other way. Split wide to the left, and Hancock comes to the right, and up over the ball is Lee North, number 73, out of Tucker, Georgia. Streater looking, throwing on the run. Ooh, almost a super catch by HUbert Simpson coming out of the backfield, but he couldn't quite control it.
Kind of a shame, Earl, because that time Simpson was wide open. It was just a poorly thrown pass by Streater, threw it behind him, and with too much steam.
So Simpson and company go out of the ball game, and the punting unit comes on, and going back deep is number 48, Dave Rutherford, a freshman from Tampa, Florida, and Johnny Warren will kick it away for Tennessee. No score. We're 7 minutes, 36 seconds away from halftime, and Tennessee may be hit with a 5-yard delay. Talking about last year's ball game, and Stanford was very sluggish in the first half. And then Steve Dills led an unbelievable second-half comeback as an illegal procedure call, not delay the game, against Tennessee. Anyway, Dills came back and helped produce 25 points as Stanford stunned Georgia's Bulldogs 25-22. What a wild finish that one was. And they've all been like that, seems like, Don, in this one.
I tell you what, we're going to have some action here in the second half. We'll talk to them and make them average that 57 points here.
You're really after me, aren't you?
Yeah, we need it.
I was saying, as Warren gets ready to punt it away again, I was saying that I thought these two teams were so explosive we'd come back with that 57-point average. Don said, I don't think so. Warren gets it away after a good rush and a fair catch called for and taken by Rutherford on the 25-yard line. Well, punt returns were a nemesis for Purdue until Rutherford took over, but he gets no run back on this one. That was a 26-yard kick. We've got a timeout with 7 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first half. We'll be back right after these messages. Mislew and Purdue. All right. Glad to have you all here. A lot of Purdue fans came down, of course, and many came from Tennessee for this ball game as Purdue goes to the attack and to the running game to the 34-yard line with Mike Augustiniak carrying the ball. And the tackle made by Roland James. Yes, sir. We always admit those mistakes. Jim Young, head coach of Purdue, recruited Mark Herman, and Herman hands off to Augustiniak, who goes to the 39, where he is stopped by Lamont Holt, number 47, a sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, a linebacker. Talking about Jim Young. You know, he came to Purdue 3 years ago, and Mark Herman was one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in America. And Mark Herman took a look at the Arizona films. He wanted to see what kind of offense that Jim Young taught, and he liked it. Said, I'm going to Purdue. 1st and 10. Augustiniak again. Augustiniak on a slant across the 45, but they're going to mark him as he slid from about the 44. Brad White, number 90, made the tackle. The defensive right tackle for the Vols.
Looks like the Boilermakers, Merle, have settled down and decided that they're going to establish a running game. Mike Augustiniak, we're looking at there, has carried the last 3 times. Boilermakers have not been shut out in their last 29 games.
And, of course, when you got a gunslinging quarterback like Herman, well, you figure you're going to score. There's a dive tackle with Augustiniak banging his way into Tennessee territory for a first down at the 48-yard line. Kenny Jones, number 99, who came up with a big fumble recovery in the end zone to stop Purdue from getting a touchdown back in the first quarter, made the tackle. First down for the Boilermakers on the 48-yard line of the Volunteers. Both these teams have rich traditions in football. Boilers, go Augie. Lots of banners out here tonight. Herman with some time. Herman going long for Burrell, and he's got him. And his old high school teammate and his roomie takes the ball down to about the 17-yard line. Bart Burrell hauls in the reception. He's not the quickest guy, but he's got great hands, and he runs good patterns.
A lot like Freddie Bolitnikoff, quarterback Herman dropping back, looking for his favorite receiver, Burrell. These guys were high school teammates on the basketball championship there in Indiana in 1976.
33-yard pickup. And Brad White is limping off the field for Tennessee, and Bill Christian comes in to replace him. We have 5 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the first half, and no score. The ball is on the Tennessee 17. McCall and Macon are now the running backs. Harris and Smith are split wide. To the run. That's Macon. Macon getting a lot of that yardage on his own, is inside the 10, now near the 7, and Roland James, 14. The free safety has to make the tackle.
Good inside move that time by Macon, doing a fine job of running, ran for 740 yards. Primarily an inside runner. That's where his long suit really is.
And he got enough for a first down, and it's goal to go coming up. Roses are red, Viva la blue. Boilers and Oilers are the best on Ms. Lou. Howard Davis. And Tennessee has just taken a timeout. Timeout with 5:27 to go in the first half here in the Astrodome, and there's no score. All right, Purdue on the move again. Purdue's drives have carried inside the enemy's 10-yard line 37 times this year, and the Boilermakers have scored on 33 of those possessions. 32 field goals and a field goal. Now they've got first and goal to go, and Purdue puts in the goal line defense, and they stop Augustiniak just about at the line of scrimmage. The charge led by Charles Gillespie, number 75, the nose tackle, and you're seeing number 61 get up, Chris Bolton, the linebacker, a junior out of Atlanta, Georgia. So this time the Boilermakers are denied by the Tennessee defense.
Purdue has picked up a lot of yardage. They've got 132 yards rushing. They've got 107 passing. All of that, though, has been at midfield, and the only thing that counts is once you cross that goal line.
Well, we were one down ahead of ourselves. We said first down. That was the first down. And Jim Young pleased about that. Jim Young has really turned the Purdue fans on all around the country with this football team of his, as is Johnny Majors of Tennessee. Augustiniak, McCall of the running back split. They're into a pro set. This is McCall cutting back. McCall, touchdown, getting the last 2 yards on his own. Absolutely refusing to go down. Danny Spradlin, number 50, the linebacker, had a hold of him, but he just kept plugging away.
McCall shows a lot of determination. He's primarily a cutback runner from what we've seen here this evening. We're going to see him cut back inside the grain there, and you're going to see him get hit short of the goal line right there. Really takes a lick, but does a good job of spinning his body out. Number 13, Ben McCall, going in for the Boilermakers.
And so Purdue is on the scoreboard, and McCall, who had 148 yards against Indiana in the finale, scores the first touchdown, and Purdue is on the scoreboard. And Siebel is 31 out of 35, and he's now 32 out of 36 in the PAT department, that is. So with 5 minutes and a second left to go in the first half, the Boilermakers have finally scored against this stubborn Tennessee defense, a team that really hits, loaded with rugged, hard-nosed kids, the kind that have played for the Falls for years and years.
Looking at it again, McCall now has 55 yards on 8 carries. You're seeing him cut inside there. Gained 148 yards in Indiana's finale this year. Fine effort. 148-yard effort against Indiana this year in the last game of the season.
So Purdue is on top by a score of 7-0. And the Boilermakers, who finished the year with a 9-2 record and are playing in their 3rd bowl game, the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl, and now the Bluebonnet Bowl, are getting ready as John Seibel will kick it off. The victory tonight in the Bluebonnet would give Purdue its first 10-victory season in history. Look at the Purdue Flying Chicken, will you? Trying to make it to the top. Yeah, he's carrying the Purdue colors right up there at the top of the Astrodome.
I think he's trying to go to the house. He was looking for a way to get out.
Gary Moore, 33. Anthony Hancock, 28, are deep for Tennessee. And it's going to be Hancock at about the 8. To the 15, he stumbled. He was losing his footing, but he managed to dive to the 20-yard line. And Seibel was right down the field. Kind of helped put the nails in. 7-0 Purdue. So Seibel gets credit for the tackle. And Johnny Majors Faces the sideline. Coaches have a tendency to do that, don't they? Jimmy Streater has Simpson and Moore as the running back. And it's Simpson to the 23, brought down by Kevin Motts, 58, who's back in there, along with Tom Kingsbury, number 15. Motts was injured earlier, but he's back now at the linebacker spot on the left side. HUbert Simpson, who rushed for 792 yards altogether this year.
Must have been some performance against Notre Dame when he scored 4 TDs. They beat Notre Dame 40-18.
It is 2nd down, 7. Purdue 220 yards offense. Tennessee 46. Slot right for Tennessee. Streater throwing incomplete, intended for Reggie Harper, number 85. He kind of threw behind him there. Reggie Harper, the All-Southeast Conference selection at tight end from Hartsville, Tennessee. A junior, lettered twice. This defensive unit, the junk defense of Purdue, if you will, led by Kevin Motts and company. Motts is probably the toughest player on this defensive unit. He calls the defensive signals. There's no way they're going to keep him out of here tonight.
Streater's now attempted 11, completed 4 for 34 yards, 1 interception.
Gall in motion, back to the left side. Streater's got a chance to run the football. Look at the move he puts on. Dives out across the 30 for a first down. Marcus Jackson, 77, and Keena Turner, 85. Stopped Jimmy Streater, but not until he picks up a first down. He rushed for 377 yards this year, scoring 7 touchdowns rushing, 9 by throwing the football, and Motts is hurt again. There's the time, 4:08 to go in the first half, and Purdue leading by a score of 7-0.
I think Streater scrambling and running on that intended passing play is an indication of how good Purdue's defensive ball club is playing. And when your quarterback starts scrambling, you're in trouble. We're looking at quarterback Jimmy Streater there, and we're seeing the injured man, number 58, Motts, being helped off the side of the field there. He went out once before, came back. All-time leading tackler with 283 solo, 234 counting all of them.
You know, Jimmy Streater knows what an injury is, too, because he missed a couple. In fact, he missed the Ole Miss game and the Kentucky game after hurting his knee against Notre Dame. But he's back, and he sends Galt wide to the right side, and Hancock split to the left. Marks is down as a linebacker for Purdue, for Motts. And was the play over? It was not. Galt was the receiver, fumbled the football, and 43, Tim Sinnop was all over it. Wayne Smith, number 44, made the hit, and Sinnop made the recovery.
Quarterback Jimmy Streater, who's had a lot of them go off bounds. This time he's on right number 26. Willie Galt gets him right there, 44. Wayne Smith hits him, and the guy picking it up is Mike Sinney. Make that 10 Sinnop, number 43, recovering it for the Boilermakers.
So Purdue has the football again. Can the Boilermakers take it in before the first half with 3:47 to go? Herman goes to the run. That's McCall, who's done an excellent job with moves like this. And he fights his way for 10 yards at the 25. Roland James, number 14, the All-American safety, has to make the tackle.
You don't see the old limp leg much anymore, but look at number 13, McCall there. Jukes the man inside, goes around him, leaves him grabbing air, puts another good move on. He's finally going to run into a man that he cannot juke. Gets away from another one. The one he cannot juke is Roland James, number 14, the great safety cornerback there for the Volunteers.
Okay, first down on the 25 of Tennessee. Jones slants to the 20, brought down by Roland James again. He is all over the field. Gain of almost 5 yards. Time remaining, 3:13 to go in the first half. Purdue leading by a score of 7-0. McCall is in. Wally Jones goes out for Purdue. Wally Jones, the sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan. Jim Young, he also faces the sideline. McCall on the receiving end this time, and a first down as Pookie has to make the tackle.
Interesting the way the Boilermakers have changed up their attack. They came out throwing the ball quite a bit earlier, with Herman putting the ball in the air to Burrell on a number of occasions. Now they started running the game with McCall doing an excellent job. And once again, Herman's gone back to the air, all successfully.
Well, the Boilermaker cheerleaders warming up as the Boilermakers get closer at the 12-yard line with a first down. Tennessee has not been known as a good pass rushing team, and splitting wide to the left side in motion. Harris and Herman to throw, and throws to Burrow. Touchdown. So the combination of Mark Herman and Bart Burrow come up with another touchdown. That's Burrow's second touchdown reception of the season.
Quarterback Herman just does a reverse pivot. Watch how he turns right there at the line of scrimmage, straightens up, and he's looking for his man Burrow, who's just running a slant in. Good pass there. Fed it right inside the defender. Good catch also by Burrow.
And so the Boilermakers do score again here.
No defense against the perfect pass, and that was just a perfect pass by quarterback Herman.
Now the extra point try coming up, and it's popped right through there by John Seibel. That's his second of the night and his 33rd out of 37 this year. 5 plays, 35 yards, and the Boilermakers score again. 2:27 to go in the first half, and Purdue has a 14-0 lead.
And Merle, you may be right after all. They may get up to that 57-point whatever they've been scoring here in the Astrodome at the Bluebonnet Bowl for the last 6 years. Looking at it again, no defense, like I said, against a perfect pass. That time quarterback Mark Herman was right on with Burrow. It was well defended, but you can't beat perfection.
You know, one of the things that has been so consistent here in the Bluebonnet Bowl over the years is the second half comeback by the underdog team, the underdog at the half.
It'll be interesting to watch the second half. Right now, quarterback Mark Herman's completed 10 out of 16 attempts for 127 yards and 1 TD. No interceptions. He's been rushing pretty well. He's -10 rushing. Quarterbacks are really good on their feet.
Going back deep for Tennessee, Gary Moore 33, Anthony Hancock 28, and John Seibel will kick it off. Gary Moore, he can really turn it on. And let's see if the ball goes to him, and if he can. Ball is kicked out of bounds. So we'll do it over with 2:27 to go in the first half. Talking about Gary Moore, who is one of the deep men, and every time you look back there and you see him, you think of that 98-yard touchdown run against Auburn. Gary is a senior from Decatur, Tennessee. Well, the Boilermaker fans and the Tennessee fans are very competitive here tonight, vocally, and that's good. Purdue Boilermakers out of West Lafayette, Indiana, 43,000 enrollment. Quite a basketball team, too, this year. Lee Rose. By the way, I wonder how our old buddy Leo Corso is.
I understand. You were the one that did it, Merle, but I understand they accepted it well and said, "Welcome home, Leo."
What about all those banners? Well, I'll tell you, I had a cut on the banners.
Okay.
Yeah, I had some agents back there putting those things together. Lee Corso did a super job out in the Holiday Bowl. This is Moore. Let's see what he can do. At the 20. Covered pretty well. Brought down to the 22, possibly the 23. And the tackler is number 26, Larry Perry. So it's 14-0. Purdue leading Tennessee as Jimmy Streater brings his offensive unit on. And the specialty team goes back to watch. 2:22 remaining in the first half. Purdue has rolled for 255 yards offense to Tennessee's 58.
Looking at the clock there with 2:22 left, the Volunteers are going to have to come to life. Nothing has come easy for them offensively.
Streater on the keep. Streater is cut down at the 29 by Ken Lauschen, the all Big Ten middle guard, who makes the stop. Tim Seneff, the strong safety, also up there. Clock running near the 2-minute mark, and it's 2nd down 4. Streater got 6. The Boilermaker defenders have held 6 of their 11 posts to under 100 yards rushing, and 2 of the 11 to less than 100 yards passing. Everybody thinks of Purdue as an offensive team, but look at this defense go against Simpson now. Led by Turner, Jackson, Lauschen, Clark, Kingsbury, and a cast of thousands.
And when you mention Kingsbury, I can't help but think that that guy's only 5'10", 202 pounds. He's a defensive end, but does an excellent job there for Purdue in their junk defense.
Third down 3 and a minute and a half to go in the first half. Phil Ingram is in. He split to the left. Jim Young, of course, was an assistant at Michigan. He coached in the first game of the decade, and this is the last one. That's Streater. Streater diving, has the first down about the 36 and is brought down and covered by James Looney. 59, minute 12 left to go. I better explain that. He was an assistant coach for Bo Schembechler at Michigan, and Bo suffered a mild heart attack at the Rose Bowl, and Jim Young took over as head coach. That was the first game of this decade. Tennessee has called a timeout. That was the first game of this decade, and this is the last one. So Jim Young has seen a lot of history.
And Jimmy Streater is a little winded out there on that last run. I don't think he was really ducking under anybody for the first down yardage. He was trying to keep from getting decapitated by James Looney there for Purdue, who was in hot pursuit. He came in head high and wanted to see if he could take his helmet and something else off with it.
Back in Silva, North Carolina, they call Jimmy the Silva Streak. His brother's not too bad either. Back there, a lot of good Streater football players.
What, he's got a brother in high school, I guess, that's even supposed to be greater than Jimmy.
Well, there's always that guy coming up. Purdue has won 13 consecutive times in its black home jerseys. By the way, they are the home team as they won the flip of the coin. They've won 12 straight at home. So they're rolling right along, and they're feeling at home here in the Astrodome, leading by a score of 14-0. And Tennessee with a first down on the ball, 36-yard line. Simpson has rushed 8 times for 26 yards as the Vols check out of the huddle and are ready to roll. Minute 12 to go in the first half. They're down by 14. Ingram is split to the right side. Streater going for the bomb the other way, and it is incomplete. I thought we might have a flag.
We do.
Hancock, the intended receiver, and there is the flag. Marcus McKinney and Bill Kay had the coverage, and it was just one of those trip situations. It was inadvertent, but you can almost, well, you'll see it right now.
Quite a foot race going on there between 28 Hancock, and you're going to look right. Well, I'm not sure that I saw anything hit or not, but the guy called defensively was John Macon. Make that K.
Yeah,
Offensive pass interference.
Yeah, it was. It's going to go the other way, I guess. And Johnny Majors a little bit upset about that one. So it's offensive pass interference as they got tangled up a bit. Offensive pass interference, says Guy Gibbs, the referee. That's a loss of a down also. Ball going back to the 20. It's 2nd and 25. Minute and 6 seconds to go in the first half. Purdue on top by a score of 14-0 after a scoreless first period. Merle Herman, Don Perkins, and Howard David wishing you all a Happy New Year coming up. There's that jump defense trying to confuse and does as Ken Lauschen, the nose tackle, put a real sock on HUbert Simpson. I could feel that one. How about you? Now it's 3rd down 27.
Ken Lauschen, a big fella, he bench presses over 400 pounds twice in all conference selection.
Purdue takes a timeout to stop the clock with 51 seconds left.
While we're looking at Lauschen there, he's also a near straight-A student in civil engineering, so he gets the job done on and off the field.
Boy, he engineered that defensive effort pretty good. So. The ball at the 19-yard line. 3rd down 27 coming up for the Tennessee Vols. Fans of all ages here tonight on this New Year's Eve. The Bluebonnet Bowl is a New Year's Eve tradition in Houston and now all across the country.
I think the thing that Johnny Majors feared most is happening out here in the first half of play. He didn't fear quarterback Mark Herman so much, although Herman has been his normal effective self, but he feared the defense of the Purdue Boilermakers, and they have certainly stymied the Volunteers' offensive attack. The Volunteers have never gotten anything going so far.
The Greater Houston Bowl Association, which presents the Bluebonnet Bowl, directed by Board Chairman Ray Driver, Vince Buckley, the president, Jim Morris, executive vice president, Lee Tucker, Bruce Conway, Weldon Humble. Weldon Humble, boy, there's a great football name out of the past. And executive director Tex Thornton, boy, what a show they put on. And Claude Clements, who hosts the big barbecue at the Regal Ranch for each of these teams. Gold and Hancock, they're split wide for Tennessee. They're in the eye. That's HUbert Simpson, brought down by Calvin Clark at the 22. Mike Mark, 62, is in on the stop. And Purdue, I believe, is going to stop that clock again. Ball at the 23. Purdue takes a timeout now with 43 seconds to go. They want to get another shot. They want to get another shot. That's Joe Abbazino. No, I beg your pardon. I thought I saw Joe coming up in the shot. John Warren will come and do the kicking as we look across the way. That was Leon Burnett, defensive coordinator of Purdue. And at halftime, Howard, we've got some super things coming up involving Hertz.
And our #1 awards, which are presented annually to the outstanding high school athlete in each state in the Union. And we'll be presenting a special feature on that. And a little bit later on the telecast, we'll be presenting the Trainer of the Year awards in the 4 categories of pro, college, junior college, and high school.
We're talking about Joe Abbazino a moment ago. He's been a long-time associate of Johnny Majors, as back deep now for Purdue goes Dave Rutherford, and doing the kicking, Johnny Warren. Joe Abbazino, by the way, is going to be the new head coach at Oregon State. What a super guy. Ooh, they almost blocked it. And Rutherford will let it roll. It takes a good Tennessee roll down to the 34, down to the 33 as Purdue went for the block. And number 34, Marcus McKinney, and number 44, Wayne Smith, were really flying.
Looking at the time there with 30 seconds left, it was a 45-yard kick that time by the Volunteers, but primarily because the Boilermakers were trying to block it.
14-0 Purdue. The Boilermakers have the ball. It is marked officially on the 32-yard line of Purdue. And here come the Boilers, led by Pete Quinn at center, Schwan and Hall the guards, Field and McKenzie the tackles, Smith and Burrell are wide, or Burrow rather. And on the handoff, it is Macon right up the middle. Macon to midfield. Macon just across midfield to the 49, brought down by Brad White with 23 seconds to go. And Purdue, let's see, I believe has taken a timeout. They get one anyway. At least a temporary timeout to move the yardsticks after the first down. But the Boilermakers take their last time out of the half now with 23 seconds left to go in the first half. And Mark Herman is over to the sideline to talk to Jim Young. Jim Young and his staff are a very coordinated unit. Jim has had 5 winning seasons in 7 years. The head coach at Arizona after being an assistant coach to Bo Schembechler at Michigan. And Jim Young, by the way, what is he, 42 years old now? 43 years old, and just a grandfather. So Purdue, with 23 seconds left to play in the first half with a 14-0 lead, and Raymond Smith splits out wide to the right. The ball's near midfield, just across the line in Tennessee territory, as Herman will operate out of the shotgun. And he has gone down the sideline for Jones, and Jones tries to get out of bounds and apparently does at the 22-yard line of Tennessee.
Pass protection just great for quarterback Mark Herman that time. Jones finding himself wide open, wanted to get out of bounds so bad that he stumbled.
And Purdue, with no huddle, is ready to move again. 15 seconds remaining in the first half. The clock starts to roll. And Herman going to the air, throwing for the sideline to Burrow, and I believe he's out of bounds when he caught the ball. So that stops the clock with 8 seconds left. Martin Burrow covered by Danny Martin, and here comes the field goal unit on as Burrow tried to pull off one of his circus catches, but not quite that time. So the field goal unit is aboard for Purdue and Johnny Seibel, who kicked a 29-yarder to beat Michigan, and his 2 out of 6 this year will boot it from the 28, making it a 38-yard effort. And on the angle shot, he's got the distance, and it is not good. It is off to the left. as Bart Burrell held for him, and Seibel's kick had the distance, had the height, but not the accuracy. So we're down to 3 seconds to go, and Tennessee will probably run the clock now to finish up the first half.
I would imagine so, Merle. You often think that a quarterback's going to put the ball in the air and go for the big one, but the way the game has been going, and quarterback Jimmy Streater's had so much trouble trying to throw here this first half, I think they'll keep it on the ground going at halftime, and Johnny Majors is going to try to figure out what they can do with that Boilermaker defense.
So Jimmy Streater sends Ingram wide to the left, Hancock to the right side. No, sir. They're going to give it another shot. And Streater cuts it loose. Do we have a flag down on that one or not? Wayne Smith was over there in the coverage. No flag is thrown on a play that ends the first half as they collided. And both went down. So that's the end of the first half. With the score, Purdue 14 and Tennessee nothing. State. Merle Herman, Don Perkins, and Howard David with you once again as both teams have returned to the field here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. And the Purdue Boilermakers, who were denied a touchdown with a fumble in the first quarter when the ball rolled into the end zone, came back to score twice in the second period. They have dominated the game statistically, having collected 307 yards total offense to 71 for Tennessee. 19 first downs to 5. And Don, the Purdue offense has been very balanced as you look at the rushing yardage at 151 and the passing yardage of 156.
Unfortunately, I'm sure the Volunteers feel their offensive attack has been balanced too. They've got 36 yards rushing and 35 yards passing, and both of those were things that Johnny Majors was concerned about for the Volunteers. He was concerned just how strong that Boilermaker defense might be, and they are tough out there in the first half of tonight's contest.
And so Tennessee will be receiving the kickoff here in the third quarter. Tennessee sending back number 28, Anthony Hancock, 33, Gary Moore, and 26, Willie Gault. And teeing the ball up or ready to is John Seibel to kick it off. The Boilermakers going for their 10th one of the year. They had big victories this year over Notre Dame at 28-22 and Michigan 24-21. Somebody at the press box said at halftime that Purdue left too many men on base in the first half. They had all the opportunities to do a lot of scoring and only have 14 points on the board. But right now, I don't think Jim Young is going to complain too much about that because his defense has been so strong. And here we go. And it will not be run back. Gary Moore will down at the end zone. So Jimmy Streater will bring his offensive unit on. Now, Don, you've gone through all these halftime meetings when your team has been behind, when your collegiate career and Mexico and then with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, how much coaching is done in there at halftime?
Well, there's not really much coaching there can be done, but you got to psych the guys up. What's happening out there is the game's being won or lost on the part of the Volunteers on the line of scrimmage. We're looking at head coach Johnny Majors there, All-American tailback at the University of Tennessee. He was a great one. Now he's got to do a great job of coaching. These teams have to come back.
Streater rolling, looking, throw it, oh, tucks it back in, and is nailed by Keena Turner. He dropped the football apparently. So a loss of 2, and it'll be second down 12. By the way, Kevin Motz, the linebacker, and an outstanding linebacker for Purdue, will not be back in the second half. He has a strained knee. He will not return. In fact, he went out, he came back in, then he got hurt again. Gault is coming wide to the left side. Looney and Marks are now the linebackers for Purdue. Streater, the option, the pitch. Berry breaks a tackle and gets out across the 25 to about the 26. Calvin Clark, number 94, and James Looney, 59, nailed him. A gain of almost 5. It'll be third down 5 coming up for Purdue, or rather for Tennessee.
James Berry there trying to go wide. You see number 85, Keenan Turner there, pull that collar, that neck support off of Berry.
Jimmy Streater, 6 out of 14 in the first half.
35 yards in the air and an interception. Streater, not quite for a first down. Calvin Clark had the pursuit and finally pulled him down from behind. Clark almost got him for a loss, but Streater ran out of that, but he did fail to get the first down. So Jimmy Streater, the Silva Streak from Silva, North Carolina, who scored 16 touchdowns this year, leaves the field. Johnny Warren comes in, and that's Dave Rutherford going back as a single safety, and Johnny Warren will kick it away. Warren pops it, shanks it kind of. And let's see where they mark it. They're going to mark it on the 43-yard line of Tennessee. So Johnny Warren did not come up with one of his patented good kicks that time. It just simply shanked off, and so Purdue comes out of it with great field position, a 13-yard kick. So we have a timeout here in the third quarter. Purdue is leading Tennessee by a score of 14-0. We'll be right back. Here come the Boilermakers on the 43-yard line of Tennessee. Mark Herman at quarterback, going to the running game, and Ben McCall, who had a good first half, carries it down to the 40, and he is brought down by Steve Davis, number 57, the senior from Knoxville, who is a defensive end. Ball is marked on the 41. Gain of 2. It'll be second down 8.
Johnny Majors was concerned about the Boilermaker defense, whether they would be able to penetrate it, and he had reason to be concerned. The Volunteers have had problems. Jim Young was concerned about the quickness on the part of Tennessee. That has not been a factor so far.
Now in motion comes Harris. McCall, play action fake. Herman to the air, going for Burl. He's got it, runs the pattern, and is out of bounds on the 23, chased out by Danny Martin, the right cornerback from McMinnville, Tennessee.
Volunteers were blitzing on this one, and when you get a blitz, you've got one-on-one coverage deep. Bart Burl, beat the defensive back. He's working on number 23 there is going to pick up that name on 23 that he's working against. But anyway, Burl did pick him off. 15-yard gain that time for the Boilermakers.
Now in motion comes Ben McCall. Macon goes inside the 20 to about the 17. Brian Ingram, number 84, the defensive right end on the stop. John Macon, a junior from Marion, Indiana, rushed for 425 yards. He's number 37. Well, let's see. We had a Burl's totals. He's got 5 receptions now, 15 yards on that one. He had 96 yards for Burl in receptions, and 5 from Herman. Ben McCall in motion. The pitch comes to Macon. Inside the 15 to the 14. Steve Davis makes the stop for the Volunteers. Now I'm kind of surprised that as we've got another injury here for Purdue, and that looks like Macon is down this time. I'm kind of surprised that Purdue has not thrown the ball more tonight, really, though. But I mean, again, so much emphasis has been put on Purdue's passing game that Jim Young knows that you got to have both sides of it to get the job done. And of course, they have run the ball quite a bit tonight. Jim's in his 3rd year at Purdue as we see if they've got a first down or not. First year he was 5-6, then 9-2-1. This year 9-2. Purdue has been packing them in, though. Their home attendance has been a record for each of the 3 years under Jim Young. And of course, Tennessee is adding on to its magnificent stadium. They're going to be drawing 95,000 a game next year. Chris Bolton is in now for Tim Irwin. Check that. Chris Bolton is in there as a linebacker for Tennessee. 2 tight ends. Tom Barr is in there now, and it is McCall and Ben trying to go over the top for the first down, and he's got the job done. Chris Bolton, 61, made the tackle. So the Boilermakers have moved to the 11-yard line with 11 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the third quarter. And Purdue leading by a score of 14-0. Purdue coaches saw Bart Burl and John Macon in the same prep all-star game and signed them later. Nobody else seemed to be interested. Well, a little confusion, and quickly Purdue calls a timeout. They were confused on the set. Dave Young was set right, Burrow left, and all of a sudden they decided they better switch. And that was enough to cause a timeout. We've got a timeout with 11:44 to go in the third quarter. Purdue leading by 14-0. Back after these messages from your local station. Purdue with the football, and it is Herman looking to throw, and he cuts it loose. And guess who's there this time? Dave Young, but it was no good. Bill Bates was back there on the coverage. Dave Young, the Big Ten's leading receiver with 51 catches for 512 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. Thought he should have had that one.
Burley caught a pass. He caught a pass.
Well, we heard from Howard David a little later here. Second down, coming up and 10 yards to go. Raymond Smith is split to the right side. And Herman goes back to the run to Ben McCall, and a great defensive effort by Steve Davis, number 57, who cut in there and knocked him down. So McCall goes down for a loss.
McCall been picking up quite a bit of yardage for the Boilermakers on the ground. Ground game along with the air game has been doing spectacular. Here McCall is trying to go wide. You're going to see Steve Davis right there shooting through. Number 14 also in the action is Roland James, the defensive back, coming up to make sure.
Tim Irvin has been in there for a couple of plays. Danny Spradlin is back as a linebacker for Tennessee as Harris splits to the left, and a shotgun for the first time in the second half. On third down, Herman throwing. There's Young. Touchdown. Dave Young, his 9th touchdown reception of the year. And the big 6'6" junior from Akron, Ohio, is a very happy man now after he had not been able to catch that last one. He had this one all the way.
Not only does he have the range and good hands, but he's got good footwork. You're looking at a 6'6" receiver there getting downfield. Quarterback Mark Herman has to work a little bit to get a chance to throw to him. But watch the footwork right there. Getting those toes inbounds there for the catch.
So the extra point try to come up now. John Seibel with Bart Burrell holding. And Seibel pops it high and gets his third PAT of the night. 10 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in the third quarter, and Purdue now owns a 21-0 lead over the Tennessee Volunteers. So the Vols will see if they can come back and get an offense going now against this Boilermaker defense, which has really been tough tonight.
Certainly has, and with that catch, that tied Young with ex-Oiler Jim Byrne with 17 for career TDs at Purdue. Quarterback Mark Herman there had to roll out to find himself a little bit more time. Got a little bit pressure from the Vols that time. Not a great deal, but fine footwork there by Young, staying in bounds.
All right, going back deep for Tennessee is Anthony Hancock, number 28, and the kick for Purdue is John Seibel. Gary Moore will also be back for Tennessee. Well, there's a squibber, and it's covered by the Volunteers at the 22-yard line. And number 27 for Purdue, David Hill, went flying down the field on that coverage. Nate Sumter fell on the football for Tennessee. So Johnny Majors Vols. I'll tell you one thing about the Volunteers. You visit with these coaches and with the players, and they are just loaded with enthusiasm for the future. And Johnny just can't wait for, you know, to have the kind of football team that he's been used to having. He's got a rebuilding job to do, and he knows that his fans are very patient, but still, he's really eager. That's Galt to the right. And HUbert Simpson to about the 24. Mike Marks, 62, the linebacker, stopping the play with Tom Kingsbury, number 15. Well, Mark Herman, after that touchdown pass, is now just 2 shy the Big Ten record of 48 by Michigan's Rick Leach. 21-0. Tennessee fans said, let's get it going. Second down 8. Jimmy Streater going long, and he's got a man, and there he is. That's Hancock. Hancock is down into Purdue territory. He is down on the 36-yard line. Bill Kay pulled him down. A beautiful pass play from Jimmy Streater to Anthony Hancock, and Hancock can really burn you.
Looking at it in isolation, the Volunteers really needed this. Anthony Hancock, number 28, doing a down and in there. Gets by the intended receiver, Bill Kay. Excellent pass by Streater. The Volunteers need a big play like that, 44 yards, to make something happen and to come to life in the second half of this game.
Well, as we mentioned before, the underdog has always put on a show in the second half. Let's see if Tennessee can keep it moving. They're down 21-0. Dive tackle was Simpson, brought down by James Looney, the linebacker, number 59. HUbert Simpson carrying the ball to the 30 for a 5-yard pickup, and it's second down 5. And now after that 44-yard pass play and a 5-yard run, all of a sudden the Volunteers seem to really have it cranked up. Gauld and Hancock are going to the right side with Gauld in the slot. Second and 5. The option and the pitch. And it's Simpson for a first down all the way down to the 22-yard line. Mike Marks, the linebacker, makes the tackle. He got almost 8 yards on the play. HUbert Simpson, who had some great games for Tennessee this year.
Running toward that double slot side this time. Got excellent blocking over there. Simpson doing a great job of running the last 2 times he carried the ball.
Now we've got an injured player for Purdue. Calvin Clark is down, number 94, the all Big Ten tackle from Atlanta, Georgia. So Purdue has had its share of injuries so far tonight.
Lost Kevin Motz for the evening with a knee injury. That's Calvin Clark that you're looking at there, being assisted off. Jimmy Streater there getting some sidelines instruction. Pass worked real well for him. Now the running game seems to be picking up with HUbert Simpson doing the groundwork.
Well, I can only go back to last year, Don, when we were here and Stanford was shut out in the first half and came back with 25 points in the second half to beat Georgia. The Bluebonnet Bowl, a New Year's Eve tradition. We're delighted to have you with us from the Astrodome, which will mark its 15th anniversary next year as the 8th wonder of the world. Now these Tennessee fans are really getting it cranked up, and the Purdue fans respond. Up over the ball, Lee North. On the dive, Simpson. Simpson bangs his way down to the 16, and Mike Marks, 62, the linebacker, stops him. That's James Berry, not Simpson. Jackson helping out on the play. 34 is James Berry from Natchez, Mississippi, a sophomore, who has averaged 4.4 yards a carry this year and has scored 4 touchdowns. It'll be second down and 5 for Tennessee. All right. Here is Jimmy Streater with his second and 5 call. This time it's HUbert Simpson. Simpson gets inside the 15, and that's all as Tom Kingsbury, 15, and Mike Marks, 62, tackle him there. And it's third down and 3. The offensive coordinator of Tennessee is Joe Avezzano. I mentioned earlier that he has been together with Johnny Majors since 1969. He was with him at Iowa State, later at Pitt, and also at Tennessee. And of course, they had some pretty good football players to work with at Pittsburgh, and they've got some good ones at Tennessee and more coming. But Avezzano will not be here for that, as the quarterback Streater fails to pick up yardage. He lost a yard as Marcus Jackson, 77, and Tom Kingsbury, 15, got very rude on that left side and threw him for a loss. It'll be fourth down and 5 coming up. But we do want to wish Joe Avezzano and his wife Diane the very best at Oregon State. They're going out there to rebuild a program. And of course, Oregon State has had a fine tradition over the years. It's been down. But if anybody can do the job, Joe Avezzano can do it. All right, we've got a timeout for Tennessee, and we'll be back right after this. Well, Don Perkins, Tennessee with a fourth down and 5, and this is going to be very critical for the Vols. They've got to get something out of this.
And they're not going to go for a field goal attempt. They know they've got to get a touchdown, keep this drive moving. It's going to be tough. Purdue has been tough defensively.
Gault and Hancock are wide. Fourth and 5. And Streater on the roll. He throws, and it is intercepted by number 34, Marcus McKenzie, at about the 3-yard line. Keena Turner, 85, was putting heat on Streater, and Marcus McKenzie picked it off.
Well, Streater had no choice. He had to get rid of the ball. He was getting a lot of pressure put on him. Right there, number 85 putting the pressure on. Number 85, Keena Turner, intended receiver downfield. Turner is likely to be a first-round draft in the NFL. Picking that one off was number 34, McKinney.
So the Boilermakers stopped the drive of the Tennessee Vols. And here come the Boilermakers. In motion to the left, Raymond Smith out of the I. The fullback, John Macon, bangs right up the middle out to the 10. Brought down by Roland James, the free safety, the All-American from Jamestown, Ohio. Lettered 4 years at Tennessee. He got 5. It'll be second down 5. Purdue was rolled from 355 yards total offense to 142 for the Tennessee Vols. Craig Pookie, 44, the linebacker, calls the defensive set. Macon and Jones are the running backs now to the Purdue I. And Macon, quick hold, quick hit, and a fumble of the football. The whistle may have blown it dead. If it didn't, Tennessee has recovered the football. But I thought I heard a whistle blowing the ball dead right after the hit. And we've got an injured volunteer this time. Or is it a Purdue Boilermaker? It's a Vol. The attendance here in the Astrodome tonight, 40,542 on this New Year's Eve. This is the 21st Bluebonnet Bowl. And the games of the past have really been wild. They've been something else.
For the 4th straight year, Ms. Lou Television Network proud to present the Nutriman Trainer of the Year Award. Here's Bill Boswell, Vice President of Dracket. Our thanks to Bill Boswell, Vice President of the Dracket Company, announcing the 4 winners last week at the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame in Kings Island. And you understand the importance of the trainers.
And both the guys in that hit are out of the ball game with injuries as Burrow grabs off another pass for Mark Herman. Bart Burrow brought down by Danny Martin. But Burrow, I tell you, this kid makes as good a diving catches that you'll ever see, and defenders can't do a whole lot about that.
We mentioned earlier that he looks a lot like the great pro Freddie Bolitnikov. Just not excessive speed, not great speed, but good hands and great footwork at knowing where that out-of-bounds mark is.
14 yards and a first down. Burrow is now 110 yards and 7 catches. Mark Herman, the junior quarterback, sending Smith in motion to the right. And he goes to his tailback, Wally Jones. And Jones whacks up to the 35, brought down by Brian Ingram, the defensive right end, number 84 from Memphis, Tennessee. Wally Jones from Detroit, a sophomore. Mark Herman, number 9, you're looking at him right now, is 6'4", 188 pounds. He threw for 2,074 yards and 13 touchdowns. And he is certainly going to be a leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy next year. In fact, many thought that he should have been higher in the voting this year. Herman, he's got Young. Dave Young is on the way, but he doesn't quite have the speed to break it all the way. He fumbles the ball in the tackle, and Tennessee recovers. Big Dave Young hauled it in. Steve Davis, 57, came in to make the recovery, and watch this, a 50-yard pickup, but a turnover.
Young, who's a 6'6" target, doing a great job getting downfield right there, runs over a would-be pass defender there, makes a nice fingertip catch. He doesn't have the speed to go all the way. You're going to see him get brought down there by number 7, Wilbert Jones. Jones goes for a ride, gets a little help, and right there the ball squirts loose. As Young goes to the ground, you're going to see it picked up by Steve Davis for the Volunteers. There's Davis going on it. A big break for the Volunteers.
And Craig Pookie's hit, number 44, is what shook that ball loose from Dave Young. And Pookie is another one of those hard-nosed Southeastern Conference football players. But right here's the guy, Steve Davis, who fell on the football.
Well, you also have a penalty marker thrown on the plate.
Well, I think the penalty, and it was a late flag. The ball stays with Purdue, but I think that penalty was for Pookie's hit.
Well, whatever, we've got
Either
the defensive units going back on the field for the Volunteers.
Either that or the ball's dead. It was dead. And the play was called complete. Maybe that was it. So the discussion still goes on. First, it was called a recovery by Tennessee. Let's see if we can determine. Now Purdue says they've got the football. Let's see it. Dave Young taking it 50.
There's a look at Young going downfield. There's the hit. First by number 7, Jones. Then Pookie comes in. You can see the ball right there. The ball is going loose. You see it bounce off the hip. You can see number 57, Steve Davis, there come in to scoop it up right there. It's got it clean so far. I don't know what's going on out there, Merle.
Well, forget what happened on that end. We finally have it explained now. Roughing the passer, roughing of Mark Herman. But they sure took a long time to talk about it down at the other end of the field. So they've carried the ball all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. Ball goes to the 49-yard line. And here comes another discussion. Tennessee said, would you mind explaining that, please?
To everybody.
The officiating crew is out of the Western Athletic Conference, the entire crew.
By the way, Merle, junior tight end Dave Young of Purdue has caught passes in now 30 straight ball games, and still another year to go.
And as we said before, Howard, the NFL scouts can't wait to get their hands on that guy. In fact, Gil Brandt of the Dallas Cowboys has said he's just a surefire first-round draft choice. Johnny Majors hoping to get an explanation. Roughing the passer. That's the call. And the 15-yard penalty killed the interception, or rather the fumble recovery by Tennessee. It's been a tough night for John. He's quite a guy, though, and much respected coach of the year after his national championship at Pittsburgh. This man, Jim Young, has had victories over Notre Dame, Michigan, and Ohio State in the last meetings between those three teams and Purdue. He was 31-13 in 4 years at Arizona. He walked right into Purdue, was 5-6 the first year, but the last 2 years he's won 18 and lost only 4, and he's going for his 19th win.
Never had 10 wins in a year, though, so the Boilermakers want this.
First down, and what a hit on Mike Augustiniak. He really took a jolt from number 50, Danny Spradlin, and Bill Christian, 66.
Augustiniak getting up a little slow there. We mentioned the Volunteers have a lot of underclassmen, some 40-some freshmen on the ball club, so they're looking forward to the years to come, but unfortunately you remember the last game of the year, and unless they can pick it up, they'll have a sad game to remember.
You just saw Bart Burrell go over there, and in motion comes Smith to the right, and Herman starts looking for Burrell. He's gone for the downs to Bart Burrell, and he dives at the 5, but he can't hang on to it. Covered by Danny Martin, who did a good job on him. Bart Burrell, the junior out of Carmel, Indiana, caught a touchdown pass earlier tonight from his teammate from high school and also at Purdue.
Would have had to have been a perfect pass that time to get it into Burrell, because Danny Martin was in great shape, yet Burrell almost gets it. You see it bounce off of his fingertips right there. It would have been a super catch, though.
It is now 3rd down and 6 coming up for Purdue. The Boilermakers leading 21-0, 4 minutes 43 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. If you're wondering about the Bluebonnet Bowl passing record, Chuck Hickson of SMU's got it, and we'll tell you about it in a minute. Incomplete, intended for Wally Jones coming out of the backfield. It'll be 4th down coming up. Chuck Hickson of Southern Methodist hit Oklahoma for 281 yards in the 1968 Bluebonnet Bowl. Mark Herman now has 200 yards for Purdue. So the punting unit comes on. Roland James, who was shaken up earlier in that big collision with Macon, is back to receive the punt from Greg Hayes. This is Roland James. And the ball is kicked out of bounds. He knocks it out of bounds at the 22, as that's where they line it up. 4 minutes and 32 seconds are left to be played here in the 3rd quarter in the Astrodome. in the 21st annual Bluebonnet Bowl. That was a 23-yard kick. Purdue leads it 21-0.
And the Volunteers once again are going to get the ball offensively. They are running out of time. It's 21-0 here in the third quarter of play. The Volunteers have yet to get anything much going offensively. They had a couple of good runs, a good pass play, but threw an interception in a very, very desperate situation.
Paul Hanna, number 96 of Westlake, Ohio sophomores, replaced Calvin Clark as we look at Galt split wide, and Streater to throw, and he's coming back to the near side and throws it out of bounds. Galt, the intended receiver. Wayne Smith had the coverage on the play. Tennessee has been here twice in Bluebonnet Bowl competition and has gone away a winner each time, beating LSU 24-17 in 1972 and Tulsa 27-6 in 1965. Last year, Stanford scored 25 points in the second half and beat Georgia 25-22. In the first Bluebonnet Bowl, Clemson and TCU kicked it off in 1959. Clemson won that one 23-7.
Jimmy Streater's now completed 6 out of 16 for 83 yards, but he's had 2 intercepted.
And he's got his wide men out, his flyers. He's got 3 wide receivers that can really burn you. Streater runs out of the hole, throws on the run, and he's got an open man on the 40-yard line. That's Willie Galt again. Galt breaking tackles at the 30. Look at this little guy fight. And he gets down inside the 25-yard line. Make that Hancock in place of Galt. His jersey's almost torn off. It's kind of tough to read the numbers. 28-26 now.
Hancock's been getting downfield quite a bit. Quarterback Streater there getting a little bit of time, but he's been under siege. You see, he's got to throw on the run. But Hancock does get downfield. He's always down there, makes a nice adjustment to come back and wait for the ball. Number 34 covering him there is Marcus McKinney. Galt doing a fine job, good second effort, getting a lot of Boilermakers surrounding him, but a big play for the Volunteers.
Worth 56 yards. Now can the Vols take it in? 4:13 to go in the third quarter. They're down 21-0. And it's run this time. And look at Jimmy Streater carry the nail down to the 10, brought down by Wayne Smith. HUbert Simpson was out front leading the play, number 32, and Jimmy Streater rolls for a first down for Tennessee.
And this is the way the Volunteers move the ball offensively. This is the way they do most of the year, but they've not been effective so far this evening against the Boilermakers. Once again, Merle, that yardage, though, in midfield doesn't count. Once you get inside the 20, it's a whole new ball game.
Streater having run for 12, giving Tennessee a first down just outside the 10-yard line of Purdue. Here is Galt wide to the left. We'll recognize Hancock. He doesn't have much of a jersey left. He's off to the right side. HUbert Simpson puts his head down, bangs head. Seneff is up there to make the stop with James Looney, 59, and HUbert Simpson just put his head down and butted his way down to about the 7-yard line.
And that's the way he likes to play football. He likes the contact. He wants to make the defensive tackler pay the price. He said, all you're going to get are knees, shoulder pads, and a helmet. And right there, he just welcomes that collision, gets the best of it, too, and picks up good yardage.
Now the ball to the 8-yard line, second down and about 7. 3 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the third quarter. Simpson gained the most yardage in the Notre Dame game. He had 4 touchdowns in that one. He set a school record for the yardage game. Streater looking. Streater running out of real estate, but he's got enough speed to get away from the lineman. And he throws for a touchdown to Reggie Harper, his tight end. Check that. That was 25, Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford, number 25, not 85. And Wayne Smith was the man on the coverage, and Glenn Ford, who's an outstanding freshman prospect from Greensboro, North Carolina, caught that touchdown pass from Streater, and finally the Vols, who've been frustrated for almost 3 quarters, come up with a touchdown.
Streater did an excellent job on that one. He got a lot of pressure. It looked like he was going to run with it. Ford doing a fine job, too. A freshman, hasn't played an awful lot, but was very patient, working diligently in the end zone, and finally managed to get himself open.
And so the Vols, I believe, are going to go for a pair on the conversion. So Streater will go for 2. He's got 4 to the backfield. He has excellent speed. And Tennessee We've got a flag thrown. Tennessee might have taken too much time. I believe they did. In fact, we've got a man coming over for New Jersey. That might be Hancock. I don't know. His jersey was almost gone a few minutes ago. But it's 21-6. 78 yards, 7 plays, big pass in the middle of it, a 56-yarder that really helped it along. And Tennessee is on the board. So the Volunteers, with a good, solid, sustained drive, and here's the touchdown.
They needed to get in there. They'd moved the ball pretty well before passing and running a little bit midfield, but it's necessary to get into the end zone. Right there, Streater doing an excellent job, keeping his patience, finding his receiver. Glenn Ford, the freshman, in the end zone. There's Ford.
They don't hit hard on the tennis court except for the racket. And we'll have the best in women's tennis. Chrissy Everett-Lloyd, Martina Navratilova, Virginia Wade. Right here on the Ms. Lou Television Network, April 20th, 1980. Just a few short hours away, Merle Harmon.
Howard, I know Ms. Lou's got some outstanding television entertainment and sports coming up for the year, and you're going to be traveling a lot in 1980.
Number big, Sam.
All right. Tennessee going for a pair. Hancock splitting wide to the right. Galt is on the wing to the right. Going for 2 and not quite. Reggie Harper, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Bill Kay broke it up. We had a timeout a moment ago by the officials because of the torn jersey. So Tennessee fails to convert. 2 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the third quarter, and there's the score. Purdue on top by 21-6. By the way, Jimmy Streater is 8 of 18 in the air for 146 yards, 2 interceptions, but a touchdown. He's also rushed for 31 yards. So now the Boilermakers, who have been dented for the first time tonight, will be receiving the kickoff from Tennessee. Again, our thanks to the Bluebonnet Bowl Committee, the Greater Houston Bowl Association, Tex Thornton, the executive director. The hospitality here has just been outstanding. Going back deep for Purdue, Dave Rutherford. And let's see, I think we have Eric Jordan back there now. Alan Duncan will kick it off. Wayne Smith is back there now for Purdue. Duncan from Norris, Tennessee. At the 8, Wayne Smith. And he is dumped hard around the 20. So the Tennessee defense will come on now to see if they can stop the Boilermakers. 2 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Craig Cantrell was downfield in the coverage. Purdue had a 14-0 halftime lead on a Ben McCall 7-yard touchdown run and a Mark Herman to Bart Burrow 12-yard touchdown pass. Then Herman hit Dave Young for the third Purdue TD in the third quarter here. Ben McCall gets the call, and he is stopped on the 24. Chris Bolton, number 61, the linebacker, on the stop. Second down, 6. Mike Harris and Bart Burrow, the wide receivers for the Boilermakers. Well, look at the enthusiasm of these Tennessee fans. Well, they've been hanging in there, but the support of the Volunteers has just been outstanding. 85,000 was just a regular crowd for Tennessee at home this year. They'll be up to 95,000 with the stadium expansion next year. And look at the Tennessee defense work on the call. Wow. Yes, sir. Jones, 99. Brad White, 90. The defensive tackles went firing in to dump McCall.
Good surge that time by the 5-man front for the Tennessee Volunteers. Jones put the final rush on there, but he got a lot of help. They got a blitz coming in there from number 44, Craig Pookie. Puts a lot of pressure on, gets the initial hit. Jones comes in to put McCall away.
And the loss of 6 makes it third down, 11. Mark Herman is sending Smith in motion to the right. Herman cuts it loose for Burrow, and Danny Martin broke it up on the sideline. Make that Raymond Smith the intended receiver. And Jim Young a little bit concerned now as the momentum starts to swing toward Tennessee. That's the best Tennessee defensive effort.
Certainly has. Offensively, they scored with big plays, but defensively, they were just very sound on every play in that series.
All right, back deep for Tennessee, number 42, and that is Val Barksdale. Punt by Greg Hayes, rolling into Tennessee territory and taking a Purdue roll inside the 35 and stopping at the 33. So the Volunteers, led by Jimmy Streater, come on with 1:15 seconds to go in the third quarter. That was a kick of 48 yards.
Well, the last couple of times they've had the ball, you're looking at the Tennessee fans there. They love it. They feel like things are going their way right now. The last 2 times the Volunteers have had the ball, they moved it very well. One was thwarted with an interception. The other one went in for a score. And we're looking at the Purdue group there. They feel like right now they're losing this ball game.
Greg Hayes just popped a good one. That punt rolling at the 33. Streater being pursued, getting blocking, gonna carry it. He can really scoot. He's very, very quick. They talk about Streater compared to Conridge Holloway, the great All-American quarterback at Tennessee. Most people tell me they feel he's quicker than Conridge Holloway was. That could be debatable, but he's something else. Ken Lauschen is out. Jim Barr is in as the nose guard now for the Purdue Boilermakers. They're going to take a measurement on this one. Good carry by Jimmy Streater.
Showed he's a smart quarterback through there. He got out of bounds. Nobody got a lick at him.
Marcus Jackson had the chase on him along with Keena Turner. And if you ever have inspiration to get out of bounds, those 2 guys will give it to you. First down, Tennessee. 1:07 to go in the third quarter. The Volunteers have scored once here in the period to cut Purdue's lead to 21-6. Gary Moore has come into the backfield and HUbert Simpson has come out. First down with the Volunteers. Streater pitching to Daniels, who can throw and does, and it is incomplete. Terry Daniels throwing long to Willie Galt. The coverage by Wayne Smith. Terry Daniels, a sophomore from Lafayette, Georgia. He was a starter until he was hurt in the Notre Dame game. Willie Galt, who can really fly. As we mentioned, 3 wide receivers for Tennessee are on the track team. Anthony Hancock, Willie George, or Willie Galt rather, and let's see, Phil Ingram.
Daniels can really wind up and throw that ball. I thought he was going to put it out of the dome here, Merle.
That's the other thing about Jimmy Streater and Terry Daniels. Talk about Daniels throwing. Streater can throw the long ball. 2nd and 10. Incomplete. Going up high was Reggie Harper, the tight end. Tom Seneff had the coverage, and Reggie Harper comes up with an injury. The All-Southeastern Conference tight end from Hartsville, Tennessee, a junior.
Got caught in mid-flight on that when he was kind of airborne there when Tim Seneff cut the legs out from underneath him. Quarterback Jimmy Streater dropping back. Pass protection looks pretty good. He rolls most of the time, though. Pumps a couple of times, trying to find Reggie Harper. The ball's a little high. Right there you see the ball going high in the air. Harper going up for it, and number 43, Tim Seneff, catches him right there after the ball bounces off of him. Actually, Harper got double teamed. He got hit a couple of times on that one.
Harper's had difficulty with his knees over his career, and here's the hit as he hits the AstroTurf. They're going to keep that leg very quiet. Ken Lauschen is back on the field now for Purdue, the nose guard or nose tackle, if you will. So we're held up here with 53 seconds to go in the third quarter in the 21st annual Bluebonnet Bowl. Kenny Lauschen has been the anchor of that Purdue line, and Purdue's got a lot of experience, not only in the defensive line, but also in that offensive line. right now, Reggie Harper at 6'3" and 214 leaves the field, and this is that Purdue defense being photographed by this young lady. Either that or taking a picture of Don Perkins.
Up here, lady.
That's your press agent down there.
53 seconds to go in the third quarter as we resume play. Jimmy Streater. These Tennessee fans really fired up now. Streater cranks it up and throws for Ingram. And Phil was overthrown. Tim Seneff had the coverage on Phil Ingram, a junior from Nashville. And it's 4th down for Tennessee.
Can't really tell what kind of a passer Streater is from this game tonight. He's had so much pressure put on him by the Boilermakers. He's usually on the run for his life when he throws the ball.
Dave Rutherford will be deep for Purdue. Johnny Warren will kick it away for Tennessee. 47 seconds to go in the third period. Warren pops a beauty. Fair catch call for, and the ball is down on the 1-yard line. So Tennessee downing the ball on the 1. Well, it's Mike Cofer, number 80, was down there. Mike Jarrett. I beg your pardon, it was Mike Cofer, who's wearing 51, okay? And we're down to 38 seconds to go in the third quarter. Let's see, they marked the ball on the 2-yard line, not the 1. 55-yard punt by Johnny Warren. That's what you call coffin corner. Well, I'll tell you, he's got one of the best coaches in the business, George Capigo.
And this is what you call field position, too, if the Volunteers can hold Purdue in.
Augustiniak and McCall of the running back. Augustiniak. And again, the Tennessee defense responds. George Capigo, assistant coach at Tennessee, former All-American, one of the most knowledgeable kicking coaches in the business. Tim Irwin is now in for Tennessee. Second down. 8 seconds to go in the third quarter. McCall breaks a tackle, breaks another, fights his way for some important yardage as the third quarter comes to an end. Danny Martin from the secondary made the tackle, but that run by McCall with a second effort could be very important here as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. And that's the end of the third period. And the score is Purdue 21, Tennessee 6. Stay with us. Well, the Tennessee band and the Tennessee fans are not about to give up in this ball game. They have been on fire here in the last 10 minutes or so. We start the fourth quarter with Purdue holding a 21-6 lead and a critical 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Boilermakers. Herman to throw, and he's throwing for Young, and Dave Young is on his way. 1st down, but he doesn't have the speed to break it. But he really gets Purdue out of the hole, going up to the 45-yard line, and Wilbert Jones, number 7, the cornerback, has to bring him down.
Dave Young, as Merle mentioned, doesn't have the speed to go all the way. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. Quarterback Mark Herman rolling out there, doing an excellent job. Young, fine receiver, leading receiver in the Big Ten. All-conference selection there, trying to get by number 7, Wilbert Jones. Jones hangs on, though, and brings down the big fella.
That's a great shot by our crew of Wilbert Jones, who's 5'11", 175, trying to bring down that 250-pound giant. He did. Herman throwing this time incomplete for Mike Harris. Danny Martin had the coverage on the play. That pass to Young was good for 37 yards, but how about that for a call on 3rd down and 4 deep in Purdue territory, and Herman cut it loose.
Super call, super throw by Mark Herman, but that time he got Mike Harris wide open. He didn't have to make a spectacular throw, and he threw it away.
This time Raymond Smith splits wide to the left. Bart Burrow goes to the right for Purdue. 2nd down 10 on the Purdue 46. Herman tucks it back in, now throws it and completes it to Ben McCall at midfield, and he's down on the 49-yard line of Tennessee. And Ben McCall is not getting up. Brian Ingram, 84, had the tackle on the play. You talk about hitting, there has been some.
A lot of players being helped off the field and staying down out there for long periods of time.
Here's the Boilermaker Extra Special at the Bluebonnet Bowl, a New Year's Eve tradition. And we are delighted to have you with us at our New Year's Eve party here in the Astrodome tonight. We have 14 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in this game. Purdue is leading by a score of 21-6. And with the timeout here in the Astrodome, we'll be back right after this message. Mark Herman was broken up incomplete, and now Purdue has a 4th down and 5 coming up. Roland James is back deep, and Greg Hayes will punt it away for Purdue. He pops it downfield. It's taken on the run on the 22-yard line, and it is Roland James to bring it back, and he gets out to the 30. Looney is downfield to make the tackle. 13 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the game. McCall, by the way, left the field. Looks like he has been the victim of a knee injury. Ben McCall. That was a 29-yard kick. And Tennessee has the ball at the 30. Tennessee's 30.
And the Volunteers have got to keep it alive. They've moved the ball pretty well. We've got a timeout on the field. They've moved it pretty well the last couple of times they've had it, but they need to keep going.
With the timeout, Purdue leads 21-6, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station. Who was putting the little heat on Streater. Stop the play. 2nd down 4 coming up after a gain of 6. 13:20 to go in the game. Purdue leading 21-6. Purdue has gained 433 yards total offense. Tennessee 236. This is Moore, Gary Moore, who lines up as a running back. Streater throws back over the middle, and he completes it to the tight end, and that's Reggie Harper. And he is brought down by Bill Kay, number 38, the right cornerback, and James Looney, the right linebacker. Good bit of faking there by Streater, and Reggie Harper, who is an all-Southeastern Conference selection and caught passes for 323 yards and 3 TDs this year, picks up a 1st down.
Probably the best passing combination the Volunteers have had all evening. Usually Streater is scrambling, looking desperately for someone to throw to. That time he moved out very smoothly and was able to find Harper for 16 yards.
And here come the Volunteers with 13 minutes right on the nose remaining to be played. Hancock split to the right. Inside, and a pitch, and how about that? Ingram pitches it out, and it goes to number 33, Gary Moore, and Moore swings wide to the left and gets down to the 35-yard line, where the safeties of Purdue, Marcus McKinney, 34, and Tim Senna, 43, have to make the tackle.
What you call pulling out a few of the stoppers. Streater to number 4, Ingram, to number 33, Gary Moore. Gary Moore getting to the outside. Around number 85, a would-be defender, Keena Turner. Moore doing a good job getting down that sidelines there. Ingram's a former high school quarterback.
Now it is 1st down for the Volunteers on the 34-yard line. And in typical Bluebonnet Bowl fashion, this second half, and particularly the 4th quarter, starts to get very exciting. Jimmy Streater back. Pumps once. Ooh, he almost threw it right into the hands of number 72, Ken Lauschen. And the intended receiver was HUbert Simpson. Ken Lauschen, the middle guard. Number 72, a senior from Richland Heights, Ohio, has had an outstanding career at Purdue at 6'2", 248 pounds. He's so tough they have to double team him most of the time. Jimmy Streater is now getting his play from the sideline. Purdue has lost 3 starters by injuries in this game. Ben McCall, Kevin Motz, and Calvin Clark. As we check in on number 10, Alan Duncan, the field goal kicker.
They don't need him. They need touchdowns.
Yes, they do. He's just keeping the leg warm. Streater throwing. Is it a good reception? Apparently it is. Wayne Smith had the coverage on Willie Galt, and Galt took it right off the AstroTurf.
Not the best thrown pass in the world. It was in the general area. Quarterback Jimmy Streater, he likes to roll out. Getting a little lead block there from Gary Moore. And there's the receiver, Galt, going to the turf, catching it. Right there with him is Wayne Smith to make sure he doesn't go anyplace.
3rd down 2 coming up for the Vols. They trail 21-6, 12:07 to play. That's Hancock to the right. And the pitch goes to HUbert Simpson. Simpson runs over his own blocker. He just couldn't get out there. Number 85, Reggie Harper, the tight end, was out. Tim Seneff covered on the play, but there just wasn't any place for HUbert Simpson to go. And it's 4th down for Tennessee. And again, a critical down for the ball. 4th down, 2. But the enthusiasm of the ball backers has never waned. Ingram splits to the right side as they come out. Streater needs 2 for a first down. He's got it at the 20. He's at the 15. He's at the 12. And Marcus McKinney and Marcus Jackson of Purdue pull him down. Jimmy Streater coming up with what just might be the biggest play of the night for Tennessee, a 14-yard run.
Certainly a big play. Streater's got everybody in front of him. He's got 2 lead blockers, Simpson and also Gary Moore leading the way. He's got linemen pulling. He's got everything going for him, and he's running with reckless abandon there. He knows he's got to pick this up.
Well, with 11 minutes to go in this game, Jimmy Streater is going to take a timeout. And you kind of wonder why at this stage with 10 minutes and 57 seconds to go, but it is a Tennessee timeout. Purdue leading 21-6, and we'll be back after these messages. Bluebonnet Bowl. Purdue, which owned the first half and the third quarter, suddenly finds itself in this defensive unit, which has been outstanding tonight, giving up only 55 yards rushing, being tested by Jimmy Streater and the Volunteers. Streater is 11 out of 24 in the air for 171 yards and 1 touchdown, and he has been picked off twice. Merle Herman with Don Perkins and Howard David. Wishing you a Happy New Year. Ingram in the slot to the left, and going out wide is Anthony Hancock. First down at the 13. Streater, no place to go. Marcus Jackson, 77, the senior from Lima, Ohio. In there with Keenan Turner. Turner actually turned the play in, and that left Streater with no place to go, except into the hands of Jackson, who just says, hey, come on in. Jay Williams is out. Tim Irwin, check that, just reverse it. Jay Williams is in. Tim Irwin is out at right tackle now for Tennessee. 21-7. Purdue leading on a 2nd down and 12 after a loss of 2. There we go. This is Ingram on the inside, and Ingram fights his way inside the 10. Simpson there, and Looney on the tackle.
Ingram lost the handle on the ball. Let's look at quarterback Jimmy Streater there, handing off. Ingram heading inside, makes a fine run. Right there, you're going to see him get popped, and the ball comes loose. Doing the hitting was James Looney. Picking it up was HUbert Simpson for the Volunteers. Scoots it forward a little bit more.
And it's 3rd down and 5 for the Vols. Streater, if he can get to the outside, and he can, he is dumped at the 10-yard line. And Tim Seneff, 43, the sophomore from Merrillville, Indiana, and the strong safety makes the tackle. Certainly want to thank Vernon Eschenfelder, our statistician tonight, J.D. Rutledge, who's handled the identifications for Tennessee, and Paul Jensen for Purdue. And, of course, the staffs of both schools. 4th down coming up. Ingram brings a play in from the sideline. Athletic Director Bob Woodruff, Johnny Majors and his staff, Haywood Harris, J.D. Rutledge of the Sports Information Office, headed by Haywood Harris. George King, the AD of Purdue, Jim Young and his staff, Tom Shoup and Paul Jensen, the SIDs at Purdue. 4th down for Tennessee. And a flag goes up, and a penalty will come on. Tennessee hit with a delay of the game penalty, something the Volunteers don't really need right now. But when a 4th down and 7, maybe it's, what's the difference from 4th down and 7 or 4th and 12?
It's got to be a big play. It's just going to have to be a little bigger, I guess.
There's the time, and there's the story of the ball game. Purdue with 2 touchdowns in the 2nd quarter, 1 in the 3rd. Tennessee scoring in the 3rd, but then going for the 2-point conversion and missing, and Tennessee has just called its 2nd timeout. So Jimmy Streater wants to come to the sideline. and have a conversation with his coaching staff. And with this timeout, 8:47 left to play in the game. Purdue holding a 21-6 lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Tennessee faced with a 4th down. 4th down and 12 for a first down. Ford is in the backfield on with Simpson. And Streater has his 4th down play. And Ingram's going to throw it. He was a high school quarterback, remember. He fires away, and it is good. Touchdown. James Berry caught that ball right off the AstroTurf. We mentioned before that Phil Ingram was a high school quarterback in Nashville. And it looked like when that play started that they just couldn't do anything with it. But James Berry got back of the end zone on a 4th down and 12, and Ingram throws a touchdown pass. And so the Volunteers have 12 points on the board now with 8 minutes and 39 seconds remaining.
Ken Lauschen had him all tied up. Number 72 here for the Boilermakers. Right there, he goes right over the top of Ingram. Ingram regains his balance, regains his sense of direction, finds Berry downfield. Berry just gets by right over a defender there, number 34, who was Marcus McKinney, but a fine catch.
Now they're going to go for 2 points. Streater. He got it, I think, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see what it's about. A flag was thrown. Streater made a dive. Any part of he had to break that plane and keep the knees up, but let's see what the flag's about. Holding call. Purdue. The preliminary indication is holding anyway.
Quarterback Jimmy Streater rolling out, giving it to Ingram. Ingram right there, getting away from Lauschen, finding his receiver Berry downfield. Almost tipped by Purdue, but nice grab there by Berry, going right to the turf there, but keeping his hands under the ball.
But apparently he did not make the distance for the 2-point conversion, but now they got the ball right up against half the distance. They moved the ball an inch maybe. Harper is, I think I just saw Harper, the tight end, on the bench. Well, how much closer can you get to the goal line with not having it in there? Mike Coper is in as the tight end now. 2-point conversion try. This time HUbert Simpson over the stack for the 2-point conversion, and guess what we've got? A 21-14 ball game as the Tennessee Volunteers come rolling back.
The 2-point conversion. Lauschen, number 72 for the Volunteers. For the Boilermakers, right there, gets a shot at it. But Simpson goes over the top, bouncing.
8 minutes, 39 seconds left to play, and it's 21-14 Purdue. 17 Purdue. Of the first 20 Bluebonnet Bowl games played, 11 went to the wire before a decision or a non-decision. We may have another one right here. The kickoff way back into the end zone by Alan Duncan. So the Purdue Boilermakers now want to control the football and use some of that clock. Let's see if the Boilermakers can put together a sustained drive. The momentum has shifted to Tennessee, but the Boilermakers have been in a lot of pressure ball games already this year. Of course, for that matter, so are the Volunteers. One of the most exciting for them was that 2017 victory over Kentucky on a field goal with 5 seconds left. Here come the Boilermakers. Split to the left side is Smith. The right side is Pearl. Augustiniak about 2 on a slant. Stopped by Steve Davis, who is over there, 57. And number 65 for the Volunteers, Carlton Gunn, who is playing a middle guard spot. 8 minutes, 17 seconds to go. Second down, 7. 3 yards on the pickup.
A lot of things going for both teams. Youth on the side of the Volunteers. Purdue trying to get 10 wins. First time ever.
Out of the shotgun with Augustiniak splitting, and look at this Tennessee defense. wrestling the ball away from Herman, but the play was dead. And the Volunteer fans go wild.
Shotgun formation, supposed to give you more time to find a receiver. Right there you see the blitz, though. Wilbert Jones, number 7, coming in for the Volunteers from the deep back position. A 13-yard loss.
Second down coming up. Second down. 3rd down rather, and 21. 3rd down, 21 for Purdue. On the draw, Augustiniak going nowhere. Stopped by Brian Ingram, 84. And the Boilermakers, who go to the running plays here, now have to give up the football on 4th down and 20. And once more, the Volunteer fans whooping up here in the Astrodome.
I think the Boilermaker defense has taken a time off here in the second half. Let's see if they can come back to life.
Greg Hayes, who had a 73-yard kick, will boot it away to Val Barksdale, and they need a good shot of flag on the play. As a fair catch is called for by Barksdale at the 49-yard line. Let's see what the flag's about. So Greg Hayes kicking it out for 39 yards, but let's see if the play will stand. Offside indicated against Tennessee. Mark Herman, by the way, has hit for 239 yards, the record for a Bluebonnet Bowl game, 281 by Chuck Hickson of SMU 1968. Play being explained now by referee Guy Gibbs. Outside Tennessee. And the penalty refused, and Tennessee will take over from the 49-yard line. So Tennessee will take it over on the 49-yard line of Purdue, and Jimmy Streater comes into the huddle. Daniels and Simpson will be the running backs as they come out. Purdue led at one time, 21-0. Georgia led Stanford last year, shutting them out in the first half. Stanford came back to win it. That's Galt wide to the left. They go to the run. And HUbert Simpson is brought down on the 45 by Paul Hanna, number 96, a sophomore tackle from Westlake, Ohio. And Mike Marks, the veteran linebacker from Chicago, number 62, with help from James Looney, number 59, out of Los Angeles. Looney really hits. He's caused 6 fumbles this year for the opposition. Second down, 7. And 1 tonight, by the way. Splitting wide to the left side is Willie Galt. As we look at Jim Streater head on. That's Galt, split to the left. Streater on the play action is going to go down the sideline, and it is picked up at the 34, Marcus McKinney, and Purdue comes up with the football at the 2-yard line. The pass was intended for Anthony Hancock, overthrown, and there was Marcus McKinney.
Well, that's what you call just throwing it up for grabs. Quarterback Jimmy Streater there dropping back. Hancock was not even close to being open. The ball's way overthrown. Marcus McKinney, the closest man to it, and he does intercept it for the Boilermakers. Costly turnover that time by the Volunteers.
And the ball marked on the 2-yard line. In the Notre Dame game this year, Marcus McKinney came up with a gigantic interception in Purdue's victory over the Fighting Irish. That's McKinney's 3rd interception of the year. Purdue has the football with 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this game, and a 21-14 lead. Again, Purdue stays on the ground with Augustiniak up the middle, stopped by Brad White, number 90, the right tackle, who was 3rd in tackles this year with 66. Gain of a yard. Well, here it is, up for grabs again.
Yep, that's throwing it up there, and usually when you do it like that, that's what happens. Marcus McKinney picking it off for Purdue.
Second down, 9. Purdue leading Tennessee 21-14. The clock running and showing 5:40. This time, Wally Jones gets the call. He doesn't go any place either. Number 65, Carlton Gunn, the middle guard. There he is. Makes the tackle for Tennessee. No gain. 3rd down and 9 now. And in the first half, It was Tennessee's defense that completely throttled, or rather Purdue's defense that completely throttled Tennessee. Now the Tennessee defense has really come to life. But it's kind of been that kind of a season for the Volunteers roller coaster. It's a young team, 44 freshmen on this team. As we look at Bart Burrell, who's split to the left, to the in, stay in. Now it is Smith in motion to the right side. And Herman's going to throw it. Throws out of the end zone. Dave Young makes the dive, but he can't get it. And Steve Davis almost got Mark Herman to the end zone. Herman didn't have any more time at all. He didn't have time to worry about throwing a good pass. It was just get it out of there because he was going down to the end zone.
And not only that, but the receivers were well covered also by the Volunteers.
Now Greg Hayes will have to kick deep, and we're looking at Roland James, who is on the 40-yard line of Purdue. James ready to take the Hayes kick from deep in the end zone, and Hayes pops it out of there. It'll be taken by James on the 35. James at the 30, at the 25, the 20. He's at the 17. Greg Hayes, who kicked the ball, had to make the tackle for Purdue. And another wild finish in a Bluebonnet Bowl game. 4 minutes and 42 seconds left to play.
Roland James, who averages almost 13 yards on each punt return, does a great job here for the Volunteers, stepping away from would-be tacklers. Fine athlete, all Southeast Conference. Can't quite keep his balance there, but he's got the Volunteers in excellent field position.
A 31-yard kick and a 14-yard return as Galt splits wide to the left and Hancock to the right for Tennessee. Streater going to carry it at the 15, the 10, the 5. He's at the 3, the 2. Marcus Jackson stops him. It's first and goal to go for Tennessee at the 2-yard line of Purdue. Let's see where they mark it, though. They're going to mark it on the 4 where his knees start to hit the ground. He started skidding about there.
Quarterback Jimmy Streater rolling out. Tina Turner, the defensive end for Purdue, gets way outside. Streater turns inside of him. He's got a lot of help downfield and picks up good yardage down inside the 5-yard line. Volunteers look like they're in excellent shape. 13-yard gain.
Aguilar is in now. Double tight end offense for Tennessee. First and goal to go on the 4. Streater on the keep is stopped at about the 2 by Mike Marks, number 62, the linebacker, with help from Ken Lauschen, the middle guard from Richmond Heights, Ohio. It is second down, goal to go from Tennessee, for Tennessee on the 2-yard line. Reggie Harper, 85. Kyle Aguilar, who is from Port Neches, Texas, by the way, are in at tight ends now for Tennessee. Jimmy Streater has Tennessee right down on that Purdue goal line with 3:47 to go in the game. And over the top and into the end zone goes HUbert Simpson. And what a comeback by Tennessee. They're now 1 point behind. 3 minutes and 42 seconds left to play. Now Tennessee.
If I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it, but the offensive line doing a good job of cut blocking, cutting down those Purdue defenders, and the ball carrier, Simpson, there going over the top.
Tennessee's got a choice. 2-point conversion. 4 plays, 17 yards after that fine punt return by Roland James. So HUbert Simpson, who had scored 7 touchdowns this year, 6 by rushing, goes over the top for the TD, and Tennessee is going to go for the lead, down by a point. 3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. Streater, they've got the lead, 22-21. HUbert Simpson again, as Johnny Majors wasn't about to go for a tie, and Tennessee has made a remarkable recovery from a 21-0 deficit and now leads 22-21 with 3:42 left in the ball game. And look at this crowd. Tennessee has gone wild. We'll be back with an exciting finish right after this message. Oh, what a turnaround Tennessee has come up with here in this second half. And going back deep for the Purdue Boilermakers, the kickoff return team, and Alan Duncan kicks it clear out of the end zone.
Well, Merle, would you say the Volunteers are sky high? They played like a team that had one foot in the grave most of the night here, and right now they're leading in this contest. Great comeback by the Volunteers.
And there is the touchdown. And here is the two-point conversion. And HUbert Simpson got them both. And that's how Tennessee got 8 points in the lead just a moment ago. Now Mark Herman has to go to the air. And he's throwing for Young, and Young drops the football. Dave Young was hit by Roland James. We talked about the matchup between the two earlier tonight. Big Dave Young, who is 6'6". Pretty good collision.
Mark Herman finding his big 6'6" receiver downfield. But quite a guy coming in there, right there, coming in from the left. Look at that lick delivered by Roland James.
It is 2nd down and 10 for Purdue. Splitting wide to the left side, Mike Harris, number 41. To the right is Burrell. And Herman, with some time, throws to Wally Jones coming out of the backfield. But he doesn't get too far. He's got about 7, but they needed big yardage there. Wilbert Jones, number 7, the quarterback, made the tackle on the play. It'll be 3rd down 2. They mark it for 8 yards. 3rd down 2, 3 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in the ball game. Chris Bolton comes in. Greg Pookie goes out as a linebacker for Tennessee. It is 3rd down 2, and Purdue is going to bring Raymond Smith split wide to the left side. Bart Burrell going to the right. Augustiniak and Wally Jones are the running backs. And it is Jones coming in motion to the left side. 3rd down call. They go to the run, and Augustiniak gets the 1st down to the 34, brought down by Brian Ingram, number 84. 2:52 left to play in the game, and let's go down to Howard David.
Okay, Merle, Jimmy Streater, great comeback for Tennessee. If you can hold on for 2:52 more, you got it wrapped.
That's right. You know, you can never say the game's over with until all the minutes are off the clock.
You came here with a lot of people there behind you 100%, and all you got to do is keep your fingers crossed now, Jim.
That's true. You know, we had a very bad start, you know, but I'm hoping that our defense can just hold them out these next 2 minutes and let us just get the ball back.
All right, an incompleted pass back upstairs to Merle Harmon.
Thank you, Howard. And Mark Herman under a blitz that time, throwing to Mike Harris. Danny Martin had the coverage on the play. The blitz was coming from the left side, and coming from the secondary, that was Wilbert Jones, number 7. It is now a 2nd down and 10 for Purdue on the 34-yard line. Going out of the ball game, Mike Harris as a wide receiver. Jim Young takes a look at the clock. 2 minutes, 36 seconds left. Raymond Smith and Bart Burrell are in now for Purdue. Tennessee leading by 1. And throwing for the sideline to Bart Burrell. Mark Herman, he's got him, and he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line. That's a 1st down for Purdue. The coverage by Wilbert Jones, number 7, the left cornerback.
Good pass in that combination that time. Mark Herman to Burrell. Burrell doing a good job running a sideline pattern there, drives the defender deep, takes a shot there from number 7. Wilbert Jones goes out of bounds, stops the clock, picks up the 1st down, and we got a man down on the field. The guy that made the stop, Jones, has been shaken up.
2 minutes, 31 seconds left to play in this game. Last year, and we go back to last year because we're almost seeing history repeating itself. Georgia gave up 25 points to Stanford after having shut out Stanford in the first half. Stanford came back to win 25-22 with sophomore place kicker Ken Neighbor providing the winning margin 10 seconds into the final period with a 24-yard field goal. But Tennessee didn't grab the lead that early. The Volunteers grabbed it just a minute or so ago with a touchdown, a 2-point conversion to go ahead of Purdue 22-21. And Wilbert Jones is now up. So Carlton Peoples, I believe, will be coming in. Here's the hit, and this is what sent Jones out of the game.
Got that head down there a little bit. Looks like he may get his neck jammed in that position. Took Burrell out of bounds, but he's the one that paid the price.
So Jones comes out, and Carlton Peoples, a freshman from Memphis, comes in to replace him. And I believe you're right. They're working on his neck. This is number 41, Mike Harris, split to the left. Herman back to throw. Herman throws again for Burrell. There he is, down into Tennessee territory, out of bounds on the 35, and they're getting closer. Remember, a field goal can win it for Purdue. 2 minutes, 26 seconds left to play in the game. Bart Burrell on the receiving end of a Herman pass, and he's getting closer and closer to a Bluebonnet Bowl record with that 18-yard play.
2 minutes and 26 seconds left. Let's take a look at Burrow's reception there. People, the intended receiver there, Bart Burrow, making a nice sideline move there. He knows what he's doing on that football field. 18-yard pickup.
275 yards in the air now as we go back to the live action on the field. And Craig Pookie comes up with a defensive play, and it's 2nd down, 10. Clock stopped with 2:21 to go as Herman goes incomplete. 2nd and 10 at the 35-yard line. Tennessee's defense really being tested now. Splitting to the left is Harris, Burrell to the right. Watch Burrell, he's the favorite receiver, was in high school for Mark Herman. Now in motion, Wally Jones. Herman looking to the left side, though, and throwing the screen to Augustiniak. It's well covered by Tennessee, and Augustiniak is dumped on the 32 by Brad White, number 90, and Danny Martin, number 29. Purdue has got to get close for that field goal because John Seibel is not a long kicker. The ball marked officially on the 31, 3rd down and 6. 1 minute 55 seconds remaining. Mike Augustiniak, a senior from Leo, Indiana, has had a fine ball game tonight. Splitting to the right, Smith. To the left is Burrell. On 3rd down, Herman's going to go for Burrell. And we may get a flag and due. Bart Burrell pushed out of bounds. The ball was on the way, and no question about that. When Danny Martin had the coverage, Burrell gives him a pat on the back. It was just one of those things. Burrell, 8 catches, 123 yards, a career high, and Purdue comes up on the pass interference call with a 1st down.
That's one where the Volunteers really didn't have much to lose on it. Had you not interfered with him, he was sure to catch it for a nice gain. Quarterback Danny Martin did push him, hoping that maybe he'd get away with it. He didn't. Either way, it was going to be additional yardage for the Boilermakers.
Peoples comes in. Jones goes out as we look at the end of the interference call. Now back to the live action with Harris to the right, Burrell to the left. 1st down, Purdue. And it is Burrell, Harris on the receiving end, but it's incomplete, and he was out there. 1 minute 36 seconds left in the game. Purdue trailing 21-22.
Mike Harris was so open on that one, and Mark Herman gave him the great big lead out there. Harris could not hang on.
So Raymond Smith, 81, reports in as Harris goes to the sideline. Now, number 80, and you just saw him come into the huddle. Dave Young could become a factor here. Number 80, Dave Young, the tight end. Burrell to the left side. Smith to the right side. 2nd down call coming up for Purdue. Out of the shotgun, Herman. He's throwing. There's Young. It is a touchdown. Dave Young, the tight end, the big play man, and the Big Ten's leading receiver, takes the touchdown, and Purdue goes back in the lead with 1.5 minutes left to play in this game.
Dave Young, 6'6" receiver for the Boilermakers, running a quarter route. You're going to see the defender there, Bill Bates, go for the whole thing. Bates is going for the interception. You can't do that with a 6'6" guy that can get behind you. Mark Herman did a good job, lofted it over Bates' outstretched hands. And there's the Big Ten. Big Ten leading receiver, setting a new record. 18 TDs for Purdue. The old record was 17. Young has set a new record with 18.
What a comeback by the Purdue Boilermakers. And no wonder they say that the Bluebonnet Bowl is the nation's most exciting postseason game. Do you need any more evidence than this? Well, Mark Herman, if our statistics are correct, has just set a new Bluebonnet Bowl passing record, 292 yards, breaking the old record of 281 set by Chuck Hickson of SMU in 1968. One more time, Dave Young, number 80.
Catching 51 on the year. 51 passes for 512 yards, 8 TDs, all Big Ten receiver. Super catch there, getting behind the defender that time, Bill Bates.
So Mark Herman has hit Dave Young for 2 touchdowns tonight. And he's also hit Bart Burrell is favorite receiver, wide receiver. I say that because you go back years back. I mean, Dave Young is the leading receiver, and we say Bart Burrell because they played in high school together. Purdue's going to go for 2. They lead 27-22. They want to try to put this thing out of reach. There's Young in motion. Herman rolling, throwing, and it is knocked down. The play is broken up by Bill Bates on a fine effort. And so Purdue fails to convert, but the Boilermakers have a 27-22 lead with 1.5 minutes left.
Nice move by Bates. Unfortunately, this one doesn't count like the other one. He just got burned by Young on the last one for a touchdown. This time he comes up with a fine interception. Good play anyway. A way to come back.
Wally Jones was the intended receiver for the 2-point conversion. Well, if Tennessee scored in a little over a minute or so, can Purdue, can Tennessee come back and do the same thing?
We're going to find out shortly.
We will indeed. 1.5 minutes left. Oh, like last year, like years before. They've really had some wild games. I remember the Texas Tech-Nebraska game, 1976. We were here for that one. Nebraska won at 27-24. It was a situation of like, who has the ball last is going to win this thing. So Mark Herman has set a new passing record, and this performance tonight on national television, and believe it or not, this is the first time Purdue has been seen on television this year, which seems absolutely unreal. But Herman being showcased tonight will get a pretty good jump for some votes for the Heisman Trophy next year. John Seibel will kick it off. Moore and Hancock are deep at the goal line. It's Moore at the 10, the 15, the 20. He saw some daylight. He gets out to the 23. Purdue tackler, 26, Larry Perry. And Tom Kingsbury was down there also. 1 minute 26 seconds remaining in the ball game. Timeouts remaining. Tennessee, none. Purdue, none. Right now, it's do or die. Here we go. Jimmy Streater, the quarterback of Tennessee, has pulled off a remarkable comeback here in the second half for Tennessee. But now, throwing against 5 defensive backs, throws incomplete on the 45-yard line.
Willie Galt, the intended receiver on that one from Jimmy Streater, but all the Purdue Boilermakers are playing deep. They're going to let the Volunteers pick up any short yardage and try to come up with an interception.
You know, it's pretty easy to say you've got to admire this football team or that football team. I want to tell you something. Tonight, you got to admire both these teams. The way Tennessee fought back from a 21-0 deficit to go ahead 22-21, and then the way Purdue came right back. Again, 5 defensive back. As Streater dumps it off out into the right flat. And carrying the ball is HUbert Simpson coming out of the backfield of the 33, and James Looney, 59, and Wayne Smith, 44. The linebackers stop the play. Now the question is, first down or not? Clock stopped with 1 minute 10 seconds. They've got to line it up. HUbert Simpson has been outstanding tonight. There have been so many great performances by players on each of these teams. But the way that Purdue came out, dominated the first half, the way that Tennessee came back in the second half to take the lead, and then the remarkable turnaround by Purdue as Mark Herman led a quick march for the leading touchdown. And it's 27-22 Purdue with 1 minute 10 left in the game. And it's a first down for Tennessee. 1st and 10. Well, at your New Year's Eve party, we hope that you've enjoyed the coverage of tonight's ball game from our fine Mislu crew. Directed by Bill and Roger Schwing. Our camera crews have just been great. Jimmy Streater, ready to go. He's going to pull the plug. The clock starts. He's ready to go. I think he's taking time. We're down near a minute now. Jimmy looks. Jimmy throws for the far sideline. He's got a receiver out there. That is Anthony Hancock. He's out of bounds in the 49-yard line of Purdue. Tim Sinnop had the coverage, and the clock is stopped with 59 seconds. Make that 55 seconds. And it's not over yet. On the 49-yard line of Purdue, Tennessee has a first down after an 18-yard pickup.
Boilermaker defenders laying off a little loose, and Hancock's got that great speed, so they lay off of him even more. He's able to pick up big yardage and get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Streater is now over 200 yards in the air. He splits his wide receivers on each side. First down on the 49. Streater fires, and he goes to HUbert Simpson coming out of the backfield. He's down inside the 40 at the 39. That'll be close enough for a measurement to stop the clock. Larry Perry had the coverage. The clock is stopped with 47 seconds left in the game, and Purdue on top by 5. Tennessee's got to have the touchdown, and officials timeout for the measurement. So Tennessee is plugging away at just about 10 yards at a whack. Well, as we await this all-important measurement, we'll go down to Howard David.
This is Bob Pennington, Senior Vice President, Dean Witter Reynolds here in Houston. Good to see you again, Bob. Most valuable player, Mark Herman of Purdue, set a new Bluebonnet Bowl record tonight.
Certainly a pleasure for me on behalf of Dean Witter Reynolds to present this trophy tonight. And Howard, it's good to be here with you again on New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year to you, Bob. Let's go back to Merle.
Thank you, Howard, and it's second down and an inch to go. Streater is now 16 out of 30, 220 yards. Purdue 495 yards total offense. Tennessee 363. How about that for offense? Streater throwing, and he swings one to Gary Moore out of the backfield, and Moore is down the sideline, and he is at the 27-yard line for a first down. Perry makes the tackle. The clock is stopped to move the chains. 34 seconds left of the ball game, and there's Gary Moore who caught that pass. And Jimmy Streater not giving up, leading a remarkable comeback. 14 yards on the pickup. First down, Tennessee. 28 seconds left. Streater, and we've got a whistle stopping the play. 26 seconds showing left on the clock. Tennessee's got to have a touchdown to keep it going. They've got to have the touchdown to take the lead. A field goal does them no good. They're down by 5. They had a lead of 22-21. But then Mark Herman rallied the Boilermakers to go back in front 27-22 with a minute and a half left to play. Perry is out. Kingsbury is in now for Purdue. And I believe we had no play, apparently. First down. But the referee, Guy Gibbs, is coming over with the clock operator, I believe, or at least the liaison man on the field, because some time did run off. If that's no play, then I would imagine that Tennessee would be allotted extra time. They're running the clock down. That's the story. They're going to put the original time back on the clock before that play. So the suspense mounts, and only a delay like this can increase it. Ken Lauschen is out. Jim Barr is in as the nose guard. And Johnny Majors, he's going to watch every second that's put up on that clock. You know he is. He has seen his team make such an unbelievable comeback to take the lead, only to see his team go behind when Purdue, which had kind of gone stale, came back with a march and went ahead of the game by a score of 27-21 as Mark Herman threw to Dave Young for a 17-yard touchdown pass. And Jim Young, he's the guy that has to do the sweating right now. They're running the clock down, and it will be held at 30 seconds, apparently. There it is. 30 seconds left to play in the game. Purdue, with the defensive unit, trying to stop this Tennessee march. Jim Young upset at the resetting of the clock. 30 seconds to go in the game. Jimmy Streater has Tennessee on the move at the 25-yard line of Purdue. All right. Here we go. Streater and company. In motion, HUbert Simpson. Streater being pursued. Cuts it loose. He completes it at the 23 to Reggie Harper, the tight end. Stops the clock as he goes out of bounds. Larry Perry had the coverage on the play, the junior from Tustin, California.
Jimmy Streater running for his life. He's thrown 3 interceptions here tonight, but he's also completed 17 out of 31 for 234 yards. This one goes to Reggie Harper. The only important thing right now he can't score is get out of bounds and stop the clock.
A gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down, 7. Another wild, typical finish to a Bluebonnet Bowl game. America's most exciting postseason classic. What else can we say? Streater, 2nd and 7. Streater going for the bomb, and coverage by Wayne Smith. He had Hancock well covered, and Streater cranked it up and threw it out of the end zone. Ken Lauschen comes back in now as the nose guard. Jim Barr comes out. His brother Tom rather, is the tight end.
And that's Anthony Hancock there, gimping along a little bit. He turned his ankle or something. There's the time, 12 seconds, but Hancock is lifting. He's the big man there for the Volunteers.
Eben Grimmett, a senior from Harvey, Illinois, is in. Marcus Jackson is out on the up front line for Purdue. Going wide to the left side is Willie Gault as Jimmy Streater with 12 seconds left has a 3rd down, 7. Streater going, and it is incomplete. The reception was by Gault, but he was out of bounds as Bill Kay had the coverage. Willie Gault holding onto the football, but he was out of bounds on the reception. And you've got to appreciate the feeling of Willie Gault right now. Marcus Jackson putting on a good rush. It'll be 4th down coming up.
I imagine it's a combination of being a little bit shaken up, a little bit hurt, and tired. Let's look at Jimmy Streater dropping back. Willie Gault throwing. Willie Gault there, the intended receiver, and Bill Kay there giving him a lick. Right there as the ball got there.
So it is 4th down and 7 coming up. And our congratulations to the Bluebonnet Bowl Selection Committee for coming up with a pair of exciting football teams. The Purdue Boilermakers of the Big Ten, 9-2. And from the Southeast Conference, the Tennessee Volunteers, 7-4 for the year. But Tennessee putting on a strong finish to win its last 2 ball games. Executive producers, Vic Piano, Claude Piano. Our producer-director, Bill Schwing. Producer, Vic Piano. Replay director Roger Schwing, associate producer Mark Wenzel, technical director Lee Knoll, audio Steve Allard, technical supervisor Don Covington, Louise Coleman on our graphics. Outstanding crew, just an outstanding crew bringing you the ball game tonight. And we're going to have a delay of the game called by Tennessee. Our cameraman, our production assistant, stage managers. And from MCI in Texas, and from Mislu, a Happy New Year. And from Merle Harmon, Don Perkins, and Howard David, we wish you the very best of the year coming up. It's been a pleasure to work these games for you. 4th down and 12. Streater puts it up for grabs, and it is out of the end zone, and 1 second shows on the clock. Bill Kay had the coverage, and a Tennessee ball club that absolutely wouldn't quit when it was down by a score of 21-0, made a remarkable comeback to take the lead at 22-21. And again, we say admiration for the Purdue Boilermakers, who had completely lost the momentum to Tennessee, but very coolly and quickly put on a drive with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. There's the story of this game from this beautiful young lady from Tennessee. But Tennessee took the lead with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left, 22-21. And you know what happened? Like a minute and a half later, Purdue was in front as Mark Herman guided Purdue on a long drive and capped it with a 17-yard touchdown pass to Dave Young. And this will wind up the year as Mark Herman downs the football, and a decade of great football has ended. It started with Jim Young and Michigan and ended with Jim Young and Purdue. We hope you've enjoyed this Bluebonnet Bowl attraction. Purdue 27 and Tennessee 22. Now this game may not be over yet. We have a delay of the game penalty.
It's been a great football game. It's a tough time ending it, though, Merle. We got